Hey! This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for being with us on the program. It's JJ and Alex. It is our 3 to 6 march to something greater. By the end of the show, you're supposed to be 13% smarter. JJ promises to do his 111th today, and that's all I can ask.
That's it, though.
You know what I mean? You got to do your 111th. I guess if it's radio talk, it's a 50-50. You got to do your 50-50.
Well, we got 4 of us today, so
you got to do your 25.
Am I on? Can you hear me?
This is PK.
check,
everybody.
check. Sibilance.
Because I always tell DJ and Yak, I said, I just need you guys to do like 1/8. I'll handle the rest.
Do your 1/8, DJ.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
Well, today we're going to ask a little bit more. And I'll tell you, there was I think this is kind of the collective feeling. The collective sigh across the valley was felt over the past 90 minutes as the news started to trickle out, and you saw the reports that Kalani Sitake was going to stay at BYU. A large few from donors, from fans, from probably some of the staff members, maybe some staff members who were like thinking, oh, maybe I would have gotten a raise after.
Well, they're getting a raise now, trust me.
Well, that's part of the negotiation.
Everybody's
right?
happy today.
Start to have conversations a little bit more than just the usual, hey, man, what can we do to get this team a little bit better? Let's have this, that, and the other. I'll tell you, the designs that they have, the literal designs that they have going on down in Provo now, that they're going to boost Kalani up. You're going to see probably an announcement of him getting extended. And to spurn Penn State, joining us at the top of our Big 12 Championship roundtable here from JCW's in American Fork on State Street, DJ and PK, nice enough to roll in. And you guys are going to both be headed down to Provo. There should be quite the jovial attitude, I think, as everybody comes off the practice fields and they don't have to answer these tough questions, right?
We had this planned, and by we I mean PK, because you've heard the phrase Michael Jordan and the Jordanaires. He called Hatch and I the Jordanaires one morning. It stuck. So
Nice supporting cast. I couldn't do it without him.
Yeah. And so he notified the supporting cast that Tuesday would be a great day to go because we saw the schedule that we were here over the weekend.
Perfect.
And then we're like, well, they're going to be available. We're off at 4:00, and we're already out halfway there. Let's just go down. And little did we know that the news would be breaking in the 2 o'clock hour. And so it's great. But aside from that, I mean, just to talk to some of these guys about the Big 12 title game and the rematch.
Yeah, I'm glad we can talk about football now.
Yeah, the X's and O's. Honestly, like the X's and O's part.
Focus on football.
It's so hard to get to a conference title game to not get to talk about the conference title game when you got one of the local teams in the conference title game seems like a massive waste of a story.
That's right. It had to end today. I woke up this morning not knowing which direction he was going to go. But I understood that today was going to be the day. And when you think about it, it was going to be logical that today was going to be the day because the news has been out. He's been talking to them for well over a week. I think I heard about it last Wednesday. And so it's like, okay. And you went to the BYU administration. Did you get what you wanted? Did you get what you need? Now make a decision. You can't have two institutions hanging. And I don't think he wanted to do that anyway. He'll probably address it today. And then it'll be football. Then it'll be over.
Right. And one institution, by the way, when you're having these, this is what made it so awkward is one institution is like, hey, man, you got a game. You got a coach right now. And I think that there's this old brain that goes, hey, can we do the old Bronco thing where we ask you, hey, why don't you stay with everybody and just give it the old one last coaching try with these guys? It's like, that's no can do in big power football
not
in
this
2025.
Level.
You can't do it.
Maybe some anonymous bowl game.
No, you can't do it. You cannot do it. They won't allow those guys to walk in and have that power to be able to sit in front of those coaches, to sit in front of those players, to be able to say, hey, man, I think you'd look great. Hey, BYU changes their colors this week to navy on top and blue and white on the bottom. Oh, why? Well, just to take a look, just to have a look, see what that looks like. No, so the Kalani staying, what does it do for the program overall, though? Because the alternative could have been you were announcing a different coach in the next week or whatever that was going to look like, the mess of whatever that was going to be and how that was going to interrupt the Big 12 game. But let's look at this from a long-term perspective. How does this help BYU be in that conversation more than just being there this year. I think people want to aspire to have that level of where Texas Tech is commitment-wise. So how does this do long-term for BYU to have Kalani there?
Well, I think that given the fact that he's beloved and he's most importantly, he's got a staff that he's empowered to do what they need to do, and guys really, really like working for him, and players like playing for him, and you got to have the money. And BYU continues to step up. You know, he was one of the lower-paid coaches. And we just saw Joey McGuire's got an extension.
7 years.
And he's going to be making $7-8 million a year. And Texas Tech, obviously, you can argue, sort of has come out of nowhere in the last, just this year. I mean, before this season, the most wins they'd had in over a decade was like 8. And then they go out and they buy these guys, and they're playing by the rules, and they got a really good football team this year and see what they can do. So it sets BYU up. It also ramps up the pressure. Because now it's not, okay, none of these 5 and 7 deals now. We're paying, and anybody, we've all been in this situation, will buy something, and as long as we get value out of it, we're okay with it. Mm-hmm. But if we don't get value, it doesn't even matter if it's a smaller purchase or a large purchase.
No, it doesn't matter.
You hate that.
Yeah, you go to place and you pay $50 for a meal. It better be pretty good. It better be piping hot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and the service had better be good. Like you're paying.
And you probably don't have a problem paying for it. I didn't realize not everybody's as fortunate as us to be, and myself, be able to say that.
If you can, right?
If you can, right. And I'm very grateful that we can all, I think you guys can say it, and so we're reached that level. But you got to get what you pay for. And we'll look at James Franklin. They weren't getting what they paid for. Guy won 13 ball games last year, 11 the year before, and I think the 10 before that.
Semifinal.
So 3 years of double-digit wins.
Yeah, that's the whole ramping up the pressure thing for Kalani.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want the pressure ramped up, 1, I don't think he can avoid it. 2, if he does want to avoid it, don't even get in a conversation with Penn State. Because once you get in a conversation with Penn State and then you go take Penn State's offer to BYU, well, if you go to Penn State, there's going to be a ton of pressure. 3-game losing streak, you're out. They don't wait for a 5 and 7 season. They're 3-3, ripcord.
Yeah, think about how wild it is. Right? Think about how wild it is. Mitch Harper, we were having this conversation, and he goes, listen to where my life was. I was staked out at the Provo airport on Sunday afternoon. And I said, hey, that was the world. He goes, because we're sitting there and I'm waiting for a plane to come in. I'm looking at tail numbers. I'm asking people. I'm on Federal Aviation websites. I'm looking for logos.
Bait guys.
I'm looking at, and I said, hey, that's kind of big time, man. I love that kind of stuff. You know, you're out there looking like Fletch at the Provo airport, trying to jump the fence there.
Did he get a steak sandwich? And whose bill did he put it on?
It was actually Provo too that he flew into.
Yeah, better be on the
None of that's fun for anybody involved, and the last 24 hours have not been fun for fans, probably not fun for the team. And it was a massive distraction.
It was.
It was a massive distraction for 24 hours.
Kalani tried to say it wasn't yesterday.
Okay. No, he said it was a good distraction. It was even worse.
He told everybody to focus. And he said it was going to be good for BYU.
Okay, but
in the 24 hours, it wasn't.
I agree with JJ.
Players are more savvy than ever. If you think he's going to stay, a guy whose most of his life connections, certainly his adult life, run through Utah, and if you think the boosters are going to pony up, and if you know they're going to pony up for NIL money.
Yeah, but they didn't know that at the time.
They didn't know, but they had to suspect. We all suspected, but we didn't know.
Penn State was enough of a big job, and the number that was floating out there was enough for you to pause and think, could he really do this? And that's called leverage.
Absolutely.
And that is exactly what Kalani had in this situation.
Leverage, PK.
Swedish thing when I had it several years ago. I had it one time.
He had it one time.
We all seek, everybody that's listening that's in business and all of us seek leverage.
I think I talked to you about it.
Because there's nothing more valuable. There's nothing more valuable in any business than leverage. And guess who had it in a massive way yesterday?
Yeah.
Kalani Sitake. And it was the only way he was going to be able to get what he needed to get done. And this wasn't just about him. This is about the assistant coaches. This is about the NIL. You're trying to beat Texas Tech on Saturday. Mm-hmm. You may not do it this year, but what about next year?
Right. Yeah, right, exactly.
You need the resources to be able to do that.
100%.
You had to use leverage in this situation and take advantage of it for this 24 hours to get what you needed to do.
But now he's got to deliver.
And so
absolutely.
I will bow to your argument about distraction a little bit.
Yeah.
But the only way to get not the only way, the most likely way to get to this extra $10 to $15 million of NIL that's being reported, 10 to 15 million on top of what they were already paying. The way to get to that was probably through a distraction. So I think
100%.
it was early in the week. It didn't drag on for it's not Penn State's 51-day, soon to be 52-day search for a coach.
You know what it did? It made the Big 12 championship game press conference more interesting than it's ever been. It was 20 minutes of I think the moderator at one point goes, okay, like because there was a question, it just kept.
Yeah, we
coming.
want to talk about this. This is the story.
I know.
For 24 hours, that was the story. Now they're fortunate enough that it was Monday,
Yes.
and typically, because this is essentially it's a game week. It's not a bowl game. It's just another game week, right? It's a 13th game, and Mondays are a lighter day. So it was good that it happened yesterday, and maybe Kalani knew when he said it was a good distraction. I'm going to soak these guys over here, and we're going to get way more money, and away we go. Maybe he had an inkling at that point yesterday. I'm not sure exactly what he was thinking at that point, but it could have been a major distraction that would help them lose. He put that behind him, and now they're ready to go because today should be the first full day of practice, and then the routine that they've been doing for 3 months, and for many of them who've been there for 4 years, it's the same thing. And so now they get right back into it.
Yeah.
So it's behind him now.
Yes.
And now it's about the ball game.
This is I can sign off on all
Well,
this.
then let's throw this one in there too. And I don't know how much or how little. I don't know where these high school kids' heads are, except for now their heads are in money than more on money than we've ever dreamed of from the high school perspective. And tomorrow is the actual early signing day. It's the one that makes
why this had to get done.
It had to get done today because tomorrow, if there's a question or if you don't get the right answer that you want, then Ryder Lyons and whoever else is on that discussion on whether or not they were going to just automatically put that signature on the sheet, then it becomes a little bit more of a question. And then you start asking about the future and how much control are you in this thing, in this moment right now. And Kalani being able to say it today and say, hey, I've informed BYU, I'm sticking around. I'm informed Penn State, I'm sticking around in Provo, and whatever that's going to look like. And I think a lot of that, we had this discussion. I came in the office today, and DJ was still there. We don't get to intersect a ton in the actual office because we have opposite sides of the time spectrum. But the conversation was, how long does this drag on? It's like, it can't go on much longer.
Nope.
It cannot. It cannot. Because as soon as you start to get down the road a little bit further, then it becomes almost a disservice. But Penn State doesn't care. They don't care about what the timing is with your team in the college football playoff. The same way that LSU doesn't care that they're blowing up Ole Miss's season.
LSU probably enjoys it.
Oh well, that's actually
It's inside the conference.
But they just go, we're on our own timeline right now. We're trying to figure things out, so we don't really care what you're doing over here. We don't really care what you're trying to figure out. Speaking of distractions, we're at JCW's in American Fork. What is it? Is that actually a quad burger you just?
Oh my gosh!
It's a triple, Brant. Oh, but the crippler is a tripler though too. It's a pound.
That's a heart attack.
Isn't it nice to be in your 20s still, Brant? Good for you. I love it. Cheese fries and the tripler crippler, which I've never heard of, by the way. But speaking of distractions, that'll happen at the at JCW's.
Wow.
I did. I saw that.
That's a lot of burger.
Something's going on
That's
over here.
as big as Kalani's new paycheck.
He's all. I actually do have one request. This JCW's down the road has a burger. I want one extra patty on it. All right. So at
Free
the end of it,
cripplers for a year.
At the end of it now, Kalani is signed up for long term, and I think the thing that people were looking at too, from a legacy standpoint, 10 years is like 15 or 20 of like the old years of coaching. I feel
agree.
like now, and Kalani and the legacy that he has, having been coached by the guy who's got his name on the stadium, and now what does Kalani's long-term goal look like? Is it that he is going to – is this the thing that makes it to where he goes, this is going to be the turning point to where this guy stays at this school for the next 20 years?
Man,
I'm not going out on that
He
limb.
got a contract extension before the
Right before this.
Yeah.
That right when Brian Santiago got in, right? Didn't they say we're going to do this?
I think it was before it was after last season.
Right.
So
Remember
it's-
the unprecedented press conference?
Yeah.
Remember Tom Holmoe sitting
Right.
next to him?
Yeah.
That
Unprecedented.
was like
wasn't-
22.
That wasn't just about and that wasn't just about him. That was about him, and they made sure it's about taking care of the entire staff,
Sure.
right? And growing the staff. And how quaint is that? It tells you how much this is accelerating, how badly people want to win, how many schools are paying that what was unprecedented then is now inadequate.
4 years later.
Right, and
Yeah.
and if it's like any other sport, like it becomes inadequate again as soon as another contract gets signed.
Because we joked 10 years ago this Friday, DJ and I drove down together to cover the Bronco to Virginia press conference. And Tom was there, and it's a public school. It was announced he's going to get like $3.5 million. And Tom said, well, we can't match that.
Right.
$3.5 million? Jeez.
Now that's almost
that's like 4 crumble cookies.
Coordinators moving into that neighborhood now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Well, not just coordinators, BYU coordinators, which is wild to think. Like, we were talking about this yesterday because that same conversation, because we started, JJ and I started working at KSL around the same time when the conversation was, dude, I heard that they were offering Bronco 700,000, 750 maybe.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. It was like a 550 or a 700. And he and Kyle kind of go back and forth about that whole conversation. And that was wild because now you look at it and you go, that was unprecedented for BYU, and look where we are now.
Yeah,
and
that
that's
was
only 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
Chris Hill bidding against himself, from 500 to 600 to 700 to keep Kyle from
Sure.
taking the BYU
Yeah.
job when Bronco eventually got it. And you think it seemed like a ton of money then. That seems like a brilliant investment in 20 years
And
of football.
that actually helped Kalani and A-Rod because at that point the stakes had gotten so high, and I literally know this, that Kyle, his assistant coaching salary pool, got reduced because they paid him more to stay because he had the BYU leverage offer. And with that, they didn't have a lot of money for assistants. So when they got down to the end of the assistant lines, they plucked
Start
A-Rod
adding
and
a couple guys
Kalani
in.
out
Yeah.
of Southern Utah.
right.
I love it.
And you're going from Southern Utah to Utah, you're like,
That was
yeah.
their big break.
Yeah.
Think about it now. And then Bronco this year was just over $2 million a year now at Utah State.
Yeah.
Where people go, look where you've come. Look how far you've
I
come.
should have gone into coaching.
So
Yeah, they didn't rob Peter to pay Paul. They robbed A-Rod and Kalani to pay Kyle.
But what's funny now is that Kalani has made it pretty clear, like, hey, by the way, extend me, get me this extra money, pay these guys, and get to these guys. And, that's
And
a
that
big part of it, too.
ingratiates him even more to his assistants.
Yep.
Which creates loyalty.
They love him even more.
Yeah.
As
And that
we've
10 to
seen is-
15 million in NIL is going to create more of that with top players.
Part of the reason
maybe they'll
Jay
spend it on
Hill
depth,
turned
but
down Utah State, which he did because of his
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he was offered the job ahead of Bronco.
Uh-huh.
Was part of the reason was his love for working for Kalani.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, and I think that a lot of people look at that and they go, well, is he going to feel spurned now? Or is there a spot where he can't get this job now going forward? But Kalani wants to take care of
Maybe
everything.
not, but he'll have other opportunities he can
Yeah,
pursue.
and the other thing is, nothing is forever. We're talking
Right.
unprecedented 4 years ago, and everything changes in 4 years. Like this, in this moment, looks really good, sounds really good,
Yeah.
should feel really good to BYU fans. But who knows where this is
Right,
going? in
the only
2, 3,
thing that
4
won't go
years.
away is DJ and PK.
It'll be at that point the franchise.
Look how
will
many
be,
coaching staffs you guys have survived.
At that point, the franchise will be. You guys won't be involved. It'll still just be two people that they force by contract, and you guys get a little something on the
I
side.
loved covering
Bob
Aaron
and
Parsons.
Stan.
And PK, it's just like a dude and another dude. I'm DJ and PK. Those are our stage names, and we have to pay a 13 cents, 1/8 to every to PK every year. How much of this, and this is kind of a weird conversation, but it definitely comes up in my head. How much of this has been created by a little bit by the standard of what not just Penn State did and what they were doing pursuing, but what basketball
Big
has
time.
done, the attitude that,
Oh
that
my
is treated
gosh.
down there versus now, because there's a feeling of like, hey, you got to kind of get to that level, and that level was already insane. Is some of that the competition
Those
of what they're
coaches
looking
at BYU, the football coaches, I wrote about this and took a bunch of heat because some people don't want to hear it. They've been irritated or irked or whatever strong verb you want to use since Mark Pope, and they kept showing Mark Pope love, 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 and then Kevin Young love, love, love. It's like, what about us over here, man?
Who butters the who butters the bread?
Yeah.
And
It's football.
And I don't
Right.
think it's just that. I think the list of grievances might be too strong, but it's the word I'm going with. The list of grievances is probably 50 deep. All of that, the PK just said, I'll co-sign all of that. But I think there's also the fundamental coaching principle, like they have the money in their marketplace to go get the number one player in A.J. Devonsa. I mean, look at the NBA mock drafts. Like, they went out and got the guy that every college in America should want. But they got him. Now, over here, does the football team go out and get the number one quarterback recruit? Does football team get the number one pass rusher who disrupts the impact the quarterback has,
most
right?
important positions.
And then how about the third most? How about the number one left tackle?
Yep.
Now, Utah has 2 tackles who are going in the first round of the draft in this portal area, and everybody's tampering to the point no one even seems to care anymore. Like, you've got these guys. You've got 2 disruptive guys down at Texas Tech. The BYU coaches know who those 4 players are, and they can't get any of them.
Right.
Does that burn a coach who's expected to win, and they're sitting there in the film room on Monday? What am I going to tell the team out of practice Tuesday, Wednesday? And they're looking at it thinking, man, if we had money, we'd have guys like this.
Right.
Maybe we'd have these specific guys, or we'd have somebody else.
They have,
we'd have the third best tackle.
They have to go turn on the tape and watch David Bailey and go, sheesh.
Right.
The BYU defense right now, 5 of the top 6 tacklers, because I just looked this up, are high school products from the state of Utah.
Crazy.
So that's the coaches saying, we'll find the guys here, we'll keep them here, we'll coach them up. In the case of one of them, Kelly was at Weber State. We'll recruit him once, Jay Hill, and then we'll recruit him a second time, Jay Hill. And it's like, if they could bring in guys from anywhere in the country, like other schools are doing, who are a dominant pass rusher. Now, how much better does that make everybody on defense when that's the guy who has to be doubled and no one else can be doubled? Make the game easier and get a game changer.
Which is why the last 24 hours have been so important.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to get that extra 10 to 15 million of NIL money that they need to close some of those deals potentially.
But I think only in the short run, because I think this is all going to escalate, and eventually everybody will have it, and you'll just need that to stay even. And also, I mean, they're in the upper echelon here. Ranked
Right.
11th, which I know a lot of people think is too low, that they should be, 8, 9, or 10 right now.
What's
Sure.
crazy is
But
ASU was 15th at this point last year when they were the number one team.
Yeah, right.
Going into this.
But Utah and BYU both are in the top 20 and have a chance to stay in the top 20. And what is the competition like? What does it cost to get the players who keep you in the top 20? How much? And we don't know because this isn't fully reported. But how much did it cost for Utah to put that offensive line together?
Right.
That Kyle's been praising nonstop since Big 12 Media Day, and now they're averaging over 40 points a game at a school we always talk about. Kyle can never get the offense right, and now they're 42 points a game.
And the number one rushing offense in the country. You had to pay a pretty penny for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, hey, isn't this fun to talk about? You know what I love is that DJ and PK are here because, like, I love that instead of having
Well, I was told to be here.
Well, you were told to be here. Didn't you order that triple burger as well? That'll keep you down here for a while.
I won't be here tomorrow.
That'll keep you in that
Planet
seat for a
Earth.
minute.
Call in sick after one crippler.
Call in dead after the crippler. That's fine. Hey, we're at JCW's here in American Fork on State Street. We got the TVs up. You know what's going to happen in about T-minus 90 minutes? We're going to see what that college football playoff ranking is going to look like. Now, odds are it's not going to change much. You might see, of course, you're going to see Texas A&M go somewhere.
But other than that,
whatever that
Do they drop
is
Ole
gonna
Miss
look like.
because of the Lane Kiffin situation?
I don't
No.
think you see them drop Ole Miss until the conversation starts to happen in that room next week after the conference championship games happen, because it's on. Hey, I'll bring this up too, because the College Football Playoff Committee has a set of standards that they use.
Yes.
And allegedly, one of those is supposed to be if coaching changes or big-time players are out, they have to have that conversation.
but they already said that they won't have a data point to see what the team looks like without him, so it'll be hard to drop. And it's an SEC school. If it were a Big 12 or ACC school,
that'd be an
I think
easy
they drop them.
conversation.
Now you get to the actual truth there.
Well,
I don't
we'll
think
see.
they're dropping the SEC school.
We'll get into that. This portion of the
should.
show also brought to you by the good folks at Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. That's TrajanWealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. DJ and PK are going to hang out with us for the rest of this hour as we get you updated. The news is official-ish. It's at least being reported. Kalani is going to stay in Provo. What that long-term deal is going to look like, we don't know. The specifics are going to be very different, though, going forward. I think you're going to see a massive change in how BYU is going to be able to approach players, coaches, whomever, to be able to stay long-term on that Kalani staff in Provo. We'll take a break. We'll get you covered all the way up till 6 o'clock, through 6 o'clock, because we got a parade of people coming through here. You're going to get Scotty G's going to come hang out with us for a minute, I think, in the next hour as well. You're also going to be, I think Hans is going to come down for that last hour as well. That'll be a great person to be able to jam with as well. College Football Roundtable. It's our Big 12 Championship Roundtable from JCW's and American Forks. Stay with us. It's JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys. Quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. It's our JCW's Big 12 Roundtable. Championship game getting played this weekend, and the good news is we can talk about this football game, you guys. That's what's exciting about this now.
Yeah, we can actually focus on football.
I mean, that doesn't mean we're going to because, I still love the
Kalani getting this big money, freaking better win Saturday.
Here comes the. You know what, PK? That's dialing into the fan like people don't know. That's a level of dialing into the fan because there's an unreasonable fan out there who goes, good, and you better freaking win. That there's part of that.
Joey McGuire just got 7 years, so he got more money. So this is what you get for getting to this level, and that's why the price of poker keeps going up.
I was actually shocked that it was, and this is crazy to say, Texas Tech, and only $7 million. Oh, 7 years, $7-ish million that he's going to be getting. But this is also a guy who is reaping the benefits of NIL money to a level that no one has ever seen in this conference before, and he recognizes that. And what did he say at the press conference yesterday? Man, I'm a Texan. This is the only thing I know, and I love this institution. You get the vibe. That guy has set the standard for how to win at a place like that. I think he wants to win at Texas Tech for a long, long time. And I think BYU fans are hoping that Kalani wants to win in Provo for a long, long time.
Well, I didn't make all these donations to the Cougar Club to get beat by 25.
Are you a bronze level guy now? Good for you. I'm glad.
No, I'm gold.
Oh, sorry. Is that what it is now? I don't know if it's a color.
Ever since we came over to Bonneville.
you automatically got up to that gold level. Good for you. DJ and PK, nice enough to hang out this hour. It's a good hour to come in because we found out about an hour ago that this was going to happen. DJ rolling with the All-American burger, by the way, and fries. That's a classic.
Choice.
Yeah.
Coming right to the top of the menu.
Yeah, it is the classic.
Well, it's just the appetizer, though.
Before you guys go down to the press conference, and BYU feeds you down there too.
Well, you got to walk out of here with a shake too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know if it's a top shake, why not? Brant is still just impressing us with this 3-level burger that I've never seen before.
He's been eating it for 20 minutes.
And I'll tell you too. Well, and Brant and Dave are taking care of us down here. They deserve it. They hooked up all the stuff. We're on the air. That's the least that we could do is get them going on that. So we'll get this thing going. How about from the actual game standpoint? How do you win this football game if you're BYU? How do you win this game down? It felt so out of reach in Lubbock. It felt like there was never a time.
Right from the start.
Right from the beginning. And it all, the muffed punt didn't help. And I think they had that one defensive stand at the beginning where they had a couple sacks. And I was like, hey, something's going on here.
Yeah,
as soon as that punt got muffed, it was like, it almost felt like it was over from there. So what changes in this game to make it to where BYU can win this thing in Arlington?
Their defense has to play the best defensive game they've played all season.
+3 in the turnovers.
They've got to come up with turnovers.
Yep. +3? Is that all it was? Just
no, that's what they need to be to win.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, is that?
Well, no, it's several
standard
things. It's not like if they got +3, it's a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
They've got to stifle that offense as much as possible, and then they're going to have to use quick, short throw passing games. They're not going to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage. If Utah couldn't dominate the line of scrimmage,
right?
Who is?
Nobody.
Not in this conference.
So you left out one thing that you talked about in the break.
And throw the ball.
I don't want to steal your thunder or your lightning here because I'm just your supporting cast. But during the break,
that's only from 6 to 10.
You said something in the break.
I allow you to blossom.
You said something brilliant in the break. You should repeat it.
I know, but it was so many things. Which one?
The one about the third-string quarterback.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to get Morton out. They need to go Sean Payton on these guys and get him. If they can get Morton out because Hammond's gone and the backup.
The third stringer.
Yeah. Well, who's now the backup? Yeah.
He's now the backup, right.
He got dinged up against West Virginia. I was watching the end of that game. Was that on Saturday? And so, yeah, I'm not talking cheap shots, but and Utah knocked Morton out of the game.
Yeah,
they
just weren't prepared for the replacement.
Yeah, right, and he caught him off guard a little bit there.
Well, at one point Morton was limping against BYU, and I think they were kind of going, we can't go to our third guy against this team. We got to keep this guy in. And I think that's what ended up happening is Morton even limping through it because that defense is so solid and because they had kind of cracked the code on BYU and because L.J. Martin wasn't 100%, and he later even said the confidence wasn't there.
Right.
What about – he's the number one rusher in the conference. Doing it against this defense is going to be a tall task.
Yeah, good. Take shots. Didn't you guys feel that watching that game was in October that BYU didn't take enough shots?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Take shots. What do you got to lose?
You're not going to drive down the field on them. I don't think you're going to beat them off the snap 10 times in a row while you drive 80 yards.
Right. Yeah.
Big plays, chunk plays.
So there's a blueprint on how to beat them. It's not perfect because there was a lot of weird things that had to happen for Arizona State to win that game, right?
Yeah, talk to Sparky here about that. He's got all the details.
You know all about it, okay? Baron Morton didn't play in that game, and the backup quarterback did. He wasn't great. But ball control was important. Arizona State won the time of possession battle. They reduced the amount of possessions that offense had, which evened the score a bit. And then they were able to throw the football. Leavitt had over 300 yards passing, I believe, in that game.
Oh, statistically, it's by far the most that
no one's been able to do that all year against them. So BYU,
give it a shot.
To win this game is going to have to ask their freshman quarterback and hope that their senior receiver is himself again.
Yeah.
Chase Roberts has to have a big game. Bear can't be indecisive and unsure about himself in the pocket like he was in the first game. If you watch Bear in that game, and I don't blame him because that front is nasty, he was unsure of himself the whole time. Not because he was unsure about his ability, but he was unsure if he was going to be able to stay alive for more than 2 seconds.
Never faced that pressure before.
He was way under pressure, and he got skittish with his feet. He was never set and never sure in the pocket. Maybe a second time around he has the confidence. They have got to be able to throw the football against Texas Tech in order to beat them because you're not going to beat them hat on a hat, running the football like BYU has beaten a lot of teams
Put some
this year.
doubt into their minds. They had no doubt. Not one fan in that stadium on that Saturday morning had any doubt who was going to win that game. Put some doubt into them.
I do think that was the toughest atmosphere, much tougher than the atmosphere they're going to face here. That had the pregame show there, whipping everybody into a frenzy for 3 hours. It was literally in their stadium. Now they're not going that far. They're going to have a ton of fans there. But that's a huge stadium. At least there'll be room for BYU fans. There were 2 small sections. Now you would think they're going to be at least 5, if not 10,000 BYU fans there.
BYU will travel fairly well, considering
and their career fans
is.
in Texas who will be at the game.
100%.
So what was funny was and I had some friends who went to that game last year because they bought tickets for that game, and then they were like, "Oops!"
Oh, thinking the Cougs were going to be in?
Well, or Utah, or whomever, or not Utah, but just like they were like, "Hey, we're gonna." They live in Texas, and they're like, "I think this is going to be a good matchup," and then it ended up not being who they wanted, and so it was a ghost town at AT&T Stadium. I mean, from Arizona State fans were pumped. Iowa State fans did not show up for that game, and the team didn't either, obviously. I mean, it was a dog of a game. It was 45.
Few of my ex-wives showed up because all my exes live in Texas.
I was waiting for that one to come through. As a guy who was born there, I could sing that song way too well. But I will say that this feels like a better game, but at the same time, it feels like it could also turn into what last year was, which was a team that going into this game, you felt like – before the game even kicked off, it was ASU's game. Iowa State had nothing on that Arizona State team going into that game last year in Arlington, and it played out immediately from the get-go. And so you've got to be able to show up first quarter. You got to be able to have it, and you got to keep it close. And then
no mistakes, no drop passes.
And then you get them rattled a little bit because the game gets kind of close, which they just didn't have close games this year, except for that Arizona State game, which ended up being their only loss of the year. And so they beat the heck out of everybody in conference play. Everybody. There wasn't really a close. Kansas State had a half where they stuck with them for a minute. and then they ended up blowing them out then in the second half too. But every conference game was an absolute disaster against anybody who was playing Texas Tech this year.
Utah played them really good for 3 quarters.
They did.
It was a 3-point game with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
It was 3 scores. Bang,
But your
bang,
point's
bang.
valid. There was not a lot of – Texas Tech did not face a lot of adversity from their opponents this season.
But that goes back to what you said at the start, JJ, that what's going to happen? Well, Texas Tech is the best team in the league.
Yep.
They spent the most money in the league. They spent it wisely. They've got good players, and they don't play like an all-star team. They play like a team. They play like talented players have been well coached. So maybe you get an A- effort out of them instead of the A+ that you saw in Lubbock. I don't think they're going to be terrible, but maybe they won't be that sharp. And maybe PK's right. Maybe they look at that Arizona State tape and think, hey, let's try to control the ball with the short passing game, and let's take some more shots because we're not going to be able to stack 10 and 12 plays drives on top of each other.
Well, you got to get the ball. I mean, BYU couldn't even get the ball past the 50 in that first game. I mean, it was pure domination.
Yeah, right. And they made mistakes, and then they got tight.
29-7 the first go around.
Yeah.
And
then eventually the defense gives up.
yeah.
It's like, if we got no shot here,
Yeah, it feels like that.
we're resigned.
Yeah, and
they
were
get worn out.
giving up field goals. They were playing well, but they were still giving up points
Yeah.
because of the field position.
Right. Yeah, they were behind the chain, so to speak, from the entire game. Obviously I would bet on Texas Tech. I don't bet, but if I were, I would. Although it's a double-digit favorite. Man, it's what would you say? It was 13
and a half
Is that what it
I
is?
saw. I don't know what it is
You were
now.
talking
May
about
have
that.
moved.
You talked about that yesterday.
Yesterday morning.
Massive.
It was 13 and a half.
For a
that's
conference
that's
championship
lot.
game, that's
yeah,
a lot.
That one is by far the
two
most.
top 11 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a significant.
I do think in the top 25, we tend to think, you just look at the numbers and think, well, they're just one spot back. But I think in the top 25 usually has like 4 tiers. And when you're between 10 and 15, you're probably in the 3rd tier. And it is hard. Utah in both years in the Rose Bowl, I think, was playing up against a team that was in the 2nd tier that was better than them. And Texas Tech is either the 2nd tier or a top-tier team. And not only the conference playoffs, but in the tournament last year, we saw a lot of blowouts. There were 2, maybe 3 good games.
Yeah.
The best one was the ASU-Texas overtime game. And Texas hung with Ohio State and lost right at the end. And maybe there was one other good game mixed in there somewhere I'm forgetting. Maybe one other.
There wasn't
No.
many.
There were a lot of blowouts.
Boise State embarrassed
We were all
themselves.
complaining about how boring the games were.
And
Indiana kind of embarrassed themselves.
in the 4-team tournament, there were a lot of semifinal blowouts also. So I think you really see these tiers. You think the teams are close when you list them in order, but the top talent has usually come together in a handful of
Hey,
schools.
Chase Roberts guaranteed a win, didn't he?
He did.
Didn't
Got
he?
a kid.
He pop off a little bit
We
afterward.
have proof. There's audio of it.
Yeah.
And I love it. You need that from your senior captain. You need to have that kind of confidence.
What else does he have to
You
lose?
need to
He's not-
believe.
That's
This is
the
it,
whole thing, man.
This is it.
Whatever the kitchen sink is in the game plan,
Yeah.
throw it.
Oh, yeah.
Throw it out
A-Rod,
there.
Everything
A-Rod-
A-Rod's got,
Yeah.
all those plays they talk about that
Hey.
they never run, it's time to dig into some of those.
It is.
whatever gadget play, whatever. And there's trick plays that are goofy. But the plays I like are the quote-unquote gadget plays where you use the other team's quickness against themselves, right? They overcommit. You overcommit on a run, that's a perfect time to run a reverse. Right?
UCF's the
you
best play on
overcommit
Saturday.
the line of scrimmage, the halfback option pass, or the pitch it back to the quarterback.
UCF's best game play on Saturday was that one where they went for 35 or whatever it was on that double reverse. They kind of used a BYU kind of tornado action in the backfield on them, and it caught them. But we'll see. I mean, they're not even trick plays with A-Rod's offense. They're part of the offense. They're gadget plays, like you were saying. They're part of what they do.
If you're going to put a lot of quick throws into the game, trying to get the ball to perimeter and beat that pass rush and minimize, Bailey and the impact he's going to have on the game, it does set up the double pass. Which one of your wide receivers can throw it?
Let's.
We know who that is.
Well, it's Kingston. I think that the trick plays can come
and I'm
more
sure
in the
Texas
special
Tech
teams.
knows who that is, too.
Special teams
A
stuff.
fake punt.
Yeah.
Let's talk some college football playoff implications in the game as well. When we come back, I've got this list of principles that are listed on the College Football Playoff Committee's website that I can't wait to share with you guys. And we'll see if if the committee will actually live by those, or if does the Big 12 have a 2-team bid prospect here regardless of how this outcome happens, is there a way that the Big 12 can get 2 teams in? We'll talk about that and much more. We're an hour plus away. In the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to be able to roll out those new rankings from this week. Obviously, the ones that matter are going to be next week. Stay with us right here. It's our College Football Roundtable at JCW's. Oh, it's our Jazz Ticket Tuesday, so let's give those away right now as well. Give us a call right now. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. That means we've got a set of tickets for you. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. Get a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Thunder coming up this Sunday at Delta Center on the 7th of December. So here you go. Here's your chance. Call number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-9663. I want to remind you also, the best blankets and the best gifts ever are from the folks at Minky Couture. Get 50% off right now this season with the promo code ZONE50. Shop online, minkycouture.com, or visit any of the 6 locations. Just mention ZONE50 or use it online and get that 50% off right now. Minky Couture, best gift ever. More to go right here from JCW's in American Fork. Stay with us, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. It is our college football Big 12 roundtable here from JCW's in American Fork. Thanks for being with us on the program. The gamut is run of all the different things you could basically get here, from the 1-pound burger that Brant put down, the All-American straight up. Well, and he got the cheese fries, too, because he's like, I'm watching my figure. I'm going to get the 1-pound burger, but also the cheese fries, okay? And then you got DJ, just go straight forward. All-American burger, fries, perfect. And then you got PK over here. Turkey salad? Is that what's going on?
It's turkey and ham.
Turkey and ham salad, like the club salad type situation there. It's nice.
Yeah.
With the, did you get the blue cheese or the ranch?
I don't use it.
The salad, I know you're kind of and you're kicking the croutons off. There's something here for everybody who's trying to watch every different type of figure that they're watching.
I lost a TV job and I'm trying to get one back.
Is he on track, guys? Is he? Is this what you got to do?
Yeah. Hey, I know a guy.
He's all hey. I saw PK and man, he was eating those greens. He kicked those croutons off the salad.
Too unhealthy.
I think we should give him a shot here. The TV executives start beating the door down. I heard you had a salad.
That's what you call leverage, right?
Kinahan, I want to
bring this whole thing full circle.
Kinahan, I heard you're committed out there.
Oh, yeah,
good for you.
Absolutely, man.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of being committed, Kalani Sitake has informed Penn State, according to reports, that he will not be taking that job. He'll be staying in Provo. That's the big news, of course, today. It came down about almost 2 hours ago. Yeah, about an hour and 45 minutes ago. You heard it on with Hans and Scotty talking about it, and then the reports started to kind of bleed out a little bit, and it looks like that he's informed Penn State. Penn State's moved on and pretend like they didn't even know who he was. They never heard of him before, and all the hurt feelings that go with that, and BYU is the beneficiary of it. We were just talking during the break, and is this crass to talk about the money part? There's a lot of guys who are in that room who are pretty excited, not just from the coaching staff perspective. There's some players who are going.
Have you guys noticed
talk about the
more
money
than ever before we're finding out more about what BYU coaches are getting paid than we did previously?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think.
And I think that's by design.
Yeah. Well,
some representation starts rolling it out there.
100%.
Community
I'm okay
and
with
more
that.
sources now with social media and all that stuff, and they need to step up.
Is that
and
good
they need people to know that they have stepped up, too.
Yeah, I mean, they let
That's
people
as
know
important.
that they were paying 7 figures for Jay Hill.
But now we talking about this in the break. Is like, what's Bear Bachmeier going to be worth in the offseason? What's
$47 million.
4.7 maybe with that jersey?
Yeah.
47 overall. Okay. That's a lot. But, I mean, these are conversations now. These guys are probably high-fiving in that locker room because that NIL money's gone up, allegedly, right? And that's part of the deal, is being able to keep guys, being able to bring guys in. There's going to be some other guys who might lose their gigs because they got to make room for the payroll for bigger names to come in. That's part of it. That's also part of the deal. The College Football Playoff Committee, I did want to bring this up. This is from their website. Okay, I've got in front of me from the College Football Playoff website their standards of what they have of what it takes to, or what they're going to look at over the next few weeks as to how this thing goes. And one of the things that is brought up was, so they go through and they kind of tick the boxes on the things that it's required basically for them to be able to get in to the College Football Playoff and the things that they discuss. And the one that came up was, here's the committee principles. It's off on their website. It's their principles, okay? They abide by these. Strength of schedule, head-to-head competition. These are the first 2 bullet points. Comparative outcomes of common opponents without incenting margin of victory. And other relevant factors such as unavailability of key players,
TV ratings,
and coaches that may have affected the team's performance during the season or likely will affect the opposing. See, that's the word right there that you're saying. They don't have anything to base it off of, but they even say in their own verbiage, or could likely have in its postseason performance. If you're missing Lane Kiffin, there could likely
and their offensive staff,
or there could likely be a performance issue with Ole Miss. I would dare say that would be a harder putt.
I mean, you're projecting on that. That's just opinion.
Why would they be any? Why the guy who calls the plays and his staff have just left,
and the guys who run the plays have stayed. Who would you rather have?
I get it. I get it. But I'm saying,
or a guy holding a clipboard.
But reason that he's getting pulled to the place that he is because he's so good at calling the plays that those guys are running.
And he was great with the Raiders, and he was great with USC. I mean, come on. You got to have the horses to win the race.
Okay. All right. So how does this one shake out? Does the Big 12 is the Big 12 able to get 2 teams in the college?
Yeah, BYU wins the game. If BYU wins the game, I think they get 2.
You think Texas Tech gets in?
I think Texas Tech will still get one if BYU wins.
They can't drop 6-7 spots, could they?
Why not?
But if Tech wins, then it's a one-bid league.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which sucks for BYU because their resume is as good as Notre Dame's or Oklahoma's.
Well, it's a little bit of a garbage formality tonight with the College Football Playoff rankings coming out. You're going to see Texas A&M move. After that, you're going to not really see any movement at all.
Maybe have Oklahoma and Notre Dame lose this week. Oh wait.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be rewarded for not going to a conference championship game. DJ, PK, thank you guys for hanging out.
Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Keep us posted what the heck goes on down in Provo tonight, how excited people are. Tell us if Kalani's wearing a lei at the press conference. He likes to do that. We'll see.
I'll leave that line alone.
I appreciate that. Tomorrow morning, though, please, I'm going to be tuning in to see if you can run with that somehow. Okay.
See if they run Jay Hill or just run off the practice field fist pumping.
We'll see.
Their wives are there.
Bears family shows up at this practice of all the practices.
Yeah, right.
They're excited, too. DJ, PK, thank you guys for hanging out with us at JCW's here in American Fork. Scotty G's going to hang out with us. We're going to talk through some of the things that have been happening over the past 2 hours, and really what it's going to look like this rest of this weekend as well. Stay right here with us. We got more to go around the corner. It's our Big 12 roundtable. We're live here from JCW's. Stay right here with us. More to go. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the College Football Playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen, Scotty G, Scott Garrard, host of Hanson Scotty, of course, every day from noon to 3 right here on the KSL Sports Zone. Nice enough to come down to the JCW's here in American Forks. Scotty, what's up, man?
Not much. Life is good, man.
I would imagine that there was a collective sigh of relief in Provo and down here in Utah County when people heard the news that Kalani's going to be sticking around. The initial reports come out, and what were the thoughts that you guys had on you guys' show?
Well, it was funny because we kept getting word from various people throughout the show yesterday, he's gone. It's over. It's gone.
Wow.
And then other people saying he ain't going anywhere. He's staying. And so we were just like, all right, let's just kick the field goal right down the middle. We're not going either way, staying or going, because there were so many people that were emphatic one way or another. Nobody was on the fence. It was, I got a text from a buddy of mine who's been really good to me in terms of coaches and athletic directors and stuff like that. And he texted me a couple days ago and said, Kalani Sitake, huh? And I'm like, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I said, I will buy you dinner anywhere you want if he leaves. And then yesterday during the show, he texted me. He's like, Ruth Chris next Tuesday.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh crap. and then today, this morning, I get a text from him. He's like, could we just settle on Burger King?
I was going to say, fine. I was going to say, he's like, I'll come to JCW's and see if we can comp.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
today.
The thing. Right now, just come on down to JCW.
He underestimated the power of some of these donors here in Utah County.
I mean, when they hit the old, what's the shell? You know, you do in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And all of a sudden,
boosters assemble,
and everybody just comes running. They look like the kids running out of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, just all spilling out and saying, "What do you need? Let's go."
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it. And part of the issue is that obviously people start to go, so what does he want? What's his greediness? What? And I think that coaches look at it, and whether or not Kalani's like this or not, Kalani's like the most. I mean, look, what does he say? What's their big thing? Humble and hungry, humble and hungry, humble and hungry. And so then people go, oh, nice humility from the guy who keeps saying humility all the time. But I think that what this does, and I think that maybe the demands that are going untalked about are the ones where he wants the program to get better by his assistants getting taken care of. He's a guy who goes, take care of these guys. I like getting paid a lot. It's nice, right? I'm eating nice, and it's great. But take care of these guys. And then the new thing is to go the Lane Kiffin route and go, what's the NIL money we're talking about we could do? What can we guarantee on the roster? What can we put to the roster every year so that we can compete with – and it's easy to go those guys and say Texas Tech, the guys you're playing against in the conference championship game this weekend. But it's also easy to just go, I love that. That's great. What about these guys over here that are even the bigger fish that you've got to be – listen – it's not good enough to just be as good as Texas Tech anymore. If this conference is going to go to a different level, programs like BYU need to step up like Texas Tech has stepped up.
So Joey McGuire was, and I like Joey McGuire. I think he's a heck of a coach, but he was a 500, sub-500 coach up until this year. Yep. What happened? Well, they gave him a ton of money. They went out and spent like a drunken sailor, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm coach of the year. I got this and this and this. Well, what's the difference? He's not a smarter coach all of a sudden. He's the same coach. He just has better players. Yep. And Kalani knows that too. He's like, look, at the end of the day, I'm judged on wins and losses. How do I win? I have the best players, or I can go get the best players. You give me the money and the resources to do that. Look, you're right. Kalani got paid, and it's a good day to be a member of the Sitake family. Timberly, go spend that money. Good for you. But he wants to make sure that he is set up for the long-term success. You can do that at Penn State. Can you do that at BYU? Well, you probably can now.
I think he did a great job of taking advantage of a rare opportunity, is having leverage like this when a school like Penn State, a blue blood, one of the top programs in the country, wants you. He used this opportunity perfectly to get what he needed, not just for him, but for his assistants and for the program as a whole, because he's no dummy. He's looking ahead and thinking, okay, we're doing pretty good here, but how are we going to compete with Texas Tech year in and year out?
Yeah.
And there's going to be other teams that step up too. We need more resources. We need more of this. We need more of that. And you needed an opportunity like this. In business, leverage is everything. And he had leverage, and he took advantage of it. Another reason why this is so important for BYU and such a big deal and why fans should be so excited is 10 years ago, there's no way BYU could outbid or keep a coach that's being offered this kind of money.
No.
There's no way they could beat Penn State head-to-head for a coach.
It's not even just about beating them.
Did.
Think about how, it has taken a long time for people who are inside those walls at BYU. And I was there as a student watching the penny pinching pretty, right on, where you're like, ooh, they're saving $1 here, and they're good at it, right? They're good at it. This is not a financial institution that prints money. It's an educational place that is supposed to represent kind of the educational center point of a worldwide church. And so the weirdness level of the money talks that have always gone along with that has been a hard pill to swallow for a lot of folks. You had to get to a spot. Everything that's led up to this point, it couldn't go from 0 to 100, right? It had to go from, wow, can you believe they're doing that now? Wow, can you believe they're going to pay him that now? To the, wow, we couldn't believe that they were going to pay Bronco $750,000, 20 years ago. Like, to where we are now, where we're going, well, I bet they're getting close to that $6-7 million figure. They probably have to be if they're going to be. And by the way, they're throwing money NIL-wise. Look at what basketball's doing. You, little by little, get to that point. And I think the administration and overall the board obviously has to be on board and say, okay, we're okay with this being the thing that is part of, essentially a marketing arm, right? I mean, you have to look at it like it's looking for television time and FaceTime for the worldwide church overall. And that's, I think, an investment that they were willing to – I say an investment, no money from the church goes to this, but an investment from it to where, in the sense that people look and they go, okay, what does this look like? The optics of it and how they take care of that in that sense. It's a really hard line. I know that it's a strange line for a lot of folks down there in Provo to have to live on.
Well, I think let's trace this all back and say the man who started this all, Mark Pope. Mark Pope leaves, goes to Kentucky, and BYU's like, okay, are we going to get poached by Kentucky? Is this really what's going to happen now?
It'll happen every time.
Are we going to play at this level?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, so they bring Kevin Young, pay him a ton of money. Then they go build that roster. And then Kalani Sitake is like, well, football's the front porch of every university. He rolls off 11 wins and double digits last year. And it's like, okay, you've made the commitment to basketball. Are you making the commitment to football? Yes, we are. And here, I think that Mark Pope hire by Kentucky really opened a lot of people's eyes. And you have to decide where you want to be. Are you going to be into – and BYU to a certain point kind of painted themselves in a corner financially with the investments of A.J. DeBonza and all the numbers that were out there. Like, you can't go all in there and then all of a sudden go cheap on your football coach.
What were we all asking after all that happened? It was like, okay, well, when are they going to do that with football?
Yeah.
Well, the idea was,
well, we have our answer.
Well, there's some donors who really love basketball, but they don't really football. And then you're going, how's that happen? There's a lot of people going, how does that work? Because there's no way. And yeah, sure enough. And then it's funny to hear that, whether or not the Crumble truck got backed up today or whatever it might be, all the things that come with that, all the companies and the names of the people that go with that.
Bunch of money in a whey protein Nutricost
Right.
container.
It's like, I was saying too.
We know where the money's coming from.
Right. Isn't it funny now? Like I said, it's a
nobody knew what Nutricost was until today.
And new skin,
no clue.
New skin is like old money. It's like MLM money. It's old. That's old news right there. So in the end, though, you have, I think, a whole program took a massive step in the direction of the thing that I think had already pictured the basketball program doing. So then it felt like, are they going to do that? Are they going to do that? And today feels like the moment where they had to make that leap into the big time for football, and I think that's going to be massive news for anybody who's getting recruited for BYU. Hey, signing day's tomorrow, by the way. The timing is not, doesn't fall on deaf ears as to why it went down the way it did. It needed to happen today for many, many reasons, but not the least of which was the fact that you have a conference championship game this weekend. You've got all these guys who are not going to be associated with the program or are going to sign tomorrow with the program. All of it needed to happen today, and I think BYU fans are probably pretty excited.
Oh, everything came up roses for BYU fans. Everything.
Did you predict Rose Bowl? Is that what you said?
That'd be nice for BYU fans too. But this is exactly it, the fear, and you mentioned yesterday the people you were hearing from people that thought he's gone. I got that sense from a lot of BYU fans in the afternoon yesterday. There was panic setting in. It's like, oh my gosh,
they're used to losing. By the way,
could we really? That's the thing, and that's why there was always a worry and a concern, and that's what. Back to my original point, this is so significant because they didn't lose him to Penn State. BYU won again in this kind of a situation. And if you want to be one of the big boys, if you want to be a top 10 program, if you want to compete for college football playoff spots annually, if you want to compete for Big 12 championship titles annually, you have to pony up this kind of money. You have to have $10 to $15 million extra in NIL to go get. You need your own David Bailey.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
BYU's got to go get those guys to take it to the next step,
Well,
to knock off a Texas Tech.
Now you got to retain Bear. Now you got to figure out how to keep all
right.
these defensive players.
Exactly.
So all that is interesting.
This is the cost of doing business. And I think that BYU and their fans and administrators, everybody's got a taste of how good this has been, and they want more of it.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Well,
and so everybody was willing to pony up and make it happen.
And you get to a point where you had to make a decision, and you made the decision with basketball. You had to make it with football. And I think that is ultimately where you're at. And to your point, you got to decide what side of the fence are we going to be on? Are we going to be on this side where we're pinching pennies, or are we going to play with the big boys? And if we really feel like this is a marketing arm of the church, if we really feel like this is an opportunity to get the name of the religion and the university out there, then football's the way to do it. And frankly, for so many years, and you talked about the perceived cheapness of BYU, which was real.
Yeah.
How many jokes did we make about, oh, well, it's BYU, so they're not going to do this,
right.
they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I think BYU, to a certain extent, kind of was proud of that. Like, that was their MO. Like, yeah, we do more with less. People want to come here and take less because it's BYU.
It's a calling. It's not
It's about more than just sports.
Exactly.
It's about more than just football.
And now I think, and I'm all for it. I've said this time and time again. BYU fans are like, well, AJ chose us because of the experience. Like, you're not in the conversation if not the money. Own it. Just say, just flex and say, yeah, damn right, we got more money than everybody else, and yeah, we got more boosters than everybody else because we're BY freaking you. So just own it and rub everybody's nose in it. Go for it.
It's a phenomenal point because from today forward, people who we think about it, we know what the history is of those. What the perception used to be versus what it is now. Whatever your conception of what BYU was. People now dip in and go, okay, they're getting all this attention from Big Noon Kickoff. They're getting all this attention from, if they're gonna if they end up in the college football playoff, then that'd be great attention. The basketball stuff obviously has been huge for them. And then people it's an automatic thing for them. Like, well, they'll always compete. Like, they'll throw money at people. They'll take a shot. They'll make a run at. And you know what? Because that's the way we look at Texas Tech, right? We kind of go middle of nowhere, kind of a smaller brand, but man, they'll pay for it, and it doesn't matter. They'll buy whoever they need to be able to make that team good. And at some point, they're just a good football team.
That was one of the most
irrelevant
power programs in the country. They have what are their accomplishments? You can't even count their conference titles on one hand.
Outright conference title last time they won one, 1955. So
they've done nothing, and suddenly the money comes in, and they're a juggernaut. They're a top 4 team.
Yeah.
Now everyone takes them serious.
And they've always had money. It's just now that they're using it towards players.
Now it's legal.
I was in Lubbock during the COVID years, and Utah State was playing a game down there against New Mexico, of all places, because the governor wouldn't let them play
in New
games
Mexico.
in the state, so they moved their games to Lubbock. And Matt Wells was there, and Matt calls up. He's like, hey, come on by the offices. I walk in, and these offices are just immaculate. And I'm like, this is crazy. He's like, oh, we're tearing this down and building a new one. He goes, this is old. He goes, you should see the new one they're building. And It's like, yeah, they've always had the money, and now that they can legally just go out and just flaunt it and spend money on players, then it's go time.
Yeah.
This portion of the show, by the way, is always brought to you this hour by the good folks at the Doug Smith brand of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. We also want to point you in the direction of this time of year being something really special. You could share it with family members, and a Win Ticket Wednesday is a great way to do it. Why? Because you've got all sorts of fun things going on. Utah's holiday magic starting here. You can experience the holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square, dazzling displays, music, and family fun right now through January 3rd. Get it going. Hey, that's where we're going to be tomorrow, by the way. Company party. JJ and I broadcasting from the ballpark tomorrow.
That's right.
That's going to be a lot of fun. So come out and check it out for yourself during this holiday season. Get tickets at theballpark@afs.com. That's theballpark@afs.com. You don't want to miss any of that. And this Wednesday, which is tomorrow, we got tickets also to give away. Do you remember what it is, JJ? Come on, Aerofest, baby. Sticks.
Nice.
Come on.
Come sail away with sticks
Chicago,
at Aerofest.
all of it. We got those tickets to give away tomorrow all day long for your Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater showing, of course, of Aerofest on August 30th. Tickets are on sale this Friday. You can listen tomorrow and win those tickets early before they even go on sale. There you go. We'll take a break. Scotty G, nice enough to hang out with us this hour as we get you going on our Big 12 Roundtable right here from JCW's 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys. Quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah, Jensen, Alex, Kirry, Scotty G, nice enough to hang out with us. Of course, he and Hans do an awesome job, noon to 3. They were on the air when we all got kind of the reports that Kalani Sitake was indeed. Have we gotten anything official from anybody yet?
I've not seen anything official.
They're coming off the practice field at 5-ish, and I was chatting with Mitch Harper earlier. We did our Big 12 show earlier, and he goes, yeah, they're letting me talk with Fessy and K-Pop right after practice. I was surprised they gave them to me, and I said, oh yeah, that could be a little bit weird. But now it's going to be high fives all around from the coaching staff, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. So those reports came out. BYU's got a Big 12 championship game to play, and they've got to figure out how to crack this nut that is the Texas Tech Red Raiders, which was not only a tough putt back in October when they went down to Lubbock. It was like not even close, and they were outclassed. They've outclassed everybody this year, obviously, except for Arizona State when they didn't have Baron Morton at quarterback, and they were there on the road. We had to hear that for the whole first hour from PK. But I will say that this team just has felt like they keep getting better and better and better. And I have a hard time picturing what it's going to have to be. And then we went through the roadmap with PK and DJ the first hour about how this thing gets done, JJ. And I didn't necessarily feel better about it afterward because it was like, okay, create 3 turnovers. Okay, Bear's going to have to throw for 300 yards, but be +3 in the turnovers. Bear's going to throw 300 yards. Got to have his best game. Also, who's going to be basically the Jordan Tyson for that team, and you're like, all right, there's a lot there. And it was, also, by the way, you have to have your best defensive game that you've had all season long. So there's a lot there. But, Scotty G, how does this team go down to Lubbock and wrangle their feelings with all the stuff?
Or Arlington this time.
Oh, sorry, down to Arlington this time. And
It's all the same thing.
I think BYU fans are actually pretty excited that it's not Lubbock now.
Yeah,
this is
sure.
going to Jerry World. But what's it look like? Like, I just can't, in my mind, I have a hard time thinking that BYU could just flip a switch and go, oh, no, there were a couple things in that game. We just switched that up a little bit. It was just such a thorough butt kicking down in Lubbock that I don't know what to think.
Well, Hans, and you'll have Hans on at 5 o'clock. Hans has painted a really great picture on this, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, is that they babied Bachmeier in that game.
Yeah.
And look, I get it. That's a great defensive line you're up against. You do have a healthier L.J. Martin. You do have a healthier Jack Kelly, which I certainly think helps. But you've got an offensive line, especially on those edges. You're going to be like, hey, you guys have to play the game of your year because we're not keeping a tight end. We might keep 6. We're not keeping 7 in.
Yeah.
And we might chip here and there to help you out a little bit. But guess what? We're going to have to be a little bit more explosive.
They need to throw that ball to him.
Yeah.
He's been phenomenal coming out and catching those balls. But you're right. They can't just use him to chip. That's not his game anyway. That's not the best version of it.
So you've got to be more explosive offensively. And look, you're on house money anyway. Nobody expected you to be there. I think when the college football playoff rankings, they'll still be at 11 when it's all said and done. So
you see the writing on the wall there.
Go out there and just let it rip, man. And so what if they get 6 or 7 sacks on you? You know what? Big deal. Let's go out there and let it rip and have some fun.
They have to be aggressive. I agree with you 100%. What they did last time, you can call it conservative or whatever. You talk about babying Bachmeier. Yeah, of course. That was a hostile environment. That defense is no joke. That front is unbelievable. I mean, we saw them against both BYU and Utah. I don't know that there's a better front in the country, to be honest. And Rodriguez is unbelievable.
Hey, by the way, I was doing the coaching show with our guy Bronco Mendenhall.
Yeah.
Do you know that he signed Rodriguez as a quarterback?
Virginia.
As a quarterback.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He actually has a stat in that 66-49 game.
Yeah. Rodriguez played in that BYU Virginia game.
He caught
2021.
He caught a pass as a slot receiver. Think about the weird quarterback at Virginia loses that gig to Brennan and then goes, okay, we're going to make you into a slot. We know you're an athlete. And now all we hear about is
now he's one of the best linebackers in the country.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story.
For Heisman.
Well, and Bronco was like, everybody saw him as a linebacker and projected him to be a great linebacker, and we really thought we could make a quarterback out of him, and that's why we got him, is because we were the only ones to say, no, we think he can play quarterback. And, ultimately he's now the best linebacker in the country.
Yeah, there you go.
That dry Broncos like that shows you what we know.
And by the way, that's a guy who's looked at a lot of bodies and gone, I'm going to turn that guy into a linebacker.
Oh,
and, of course, he looks at Jacob Rodriguez and goes, I'm going to make you a quarterback, son. At the end, though, I look at names that could pop up in a game like this, the ones that stand out. Unfortunately, there were names that stood out that made you that kind of put you the other direction. Parker Kingston's muffed punt was like a giant punch to the gut for that team right off the bat. And the turnovers have been there, but he's improved, I think. What are some of the other names? Obviously, you got to expect your Bear Bachmeyers and your Chase Robertses and your L.J. Martins to show up, because those are like your leaders. Those guys are the ones who are the big time dudes. On defense, it's Jack Kelly, Isaiah Glaster, those types of guys. What other names pop up, do you think, that can make impacts on the fringe of a game like this to make a difference in Arlington?
I mean, I go to Parker Kingston. You can't have self-inflicted mistakes.
Yeah.
And that to me is, if you play a clean game, I think you have a chance to be right there with Texas Tech. But you can't give them freebies. You can't cough up an early turnover. You can't give them a short field. If you make that offense go 80 yards, 75 yards, I think you got a chance to hold them to a lot of field goals. I really do. But if you're giving them short fields, then that's going to get away with you. And that's how it got away from him in Lubbock. But I think it'll be a neutral side. What do you think? I told Hans I thought it would be 60-40 Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think it'll actually be. I was having a discussion with somebody today about that, because they were like, Texas Tech fans are going to be
They've been waiting a long
wild.
time for this.
Yeah, they've been waiting a long time, and BYU fans do show up,
and they think this is their party.
and BYU fans do show up to these games, and not just show up. Everyone's always like, they travel so well. I'm like, they're already there, by the way. Like, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So and I think that's going to be the case. You're going to see some people coming in, drawn in from a lot of the South right there, but I think it's even going to be less. I think it's going to be more like a 70-30 type of situation. You're going to see – I mean, it's a 100,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, no.
So you're going to see – I think you'll see 30,000 BYU fans there.
But either way,
20,000.
I don't think it'll be as nearly intimidating as Lubbock was.
No. And the Big 12 championship game last year, no one freaking showed up.
Yeah, well, that's Arizona State and Iowa State.
So
Brett Yormark had to be just like, yes.
Thank
when
heavens
he saw
there
this
was a
thing
little
come
bit
together.
more. Yeah. And so I looked at this and go, who knows? It'll definitely feel different. BYU's gone down to that stadium and made it feel like a home game against teams that are down there.
I was there in 2009 when they beat Oklahoma.
That Oklahoma game was as big of a program kind of turnarounder as anything, because that team kind of catapulted that year, and you think about what they ended up becoming, and it all started kind of in that building. Now, that was an Oklahoma team that was overrated, I think, a little bit.
They turned out to be overrated for sure.
Well,
but they had the reigning Heisman Trophy winner,
and you knocked the quarterback out.
And his quarterback goes out for the rest of the year, basically.
A lot of things went BYU's way that day. And I think a lot of things have to go BYU's way in this game.
Yeah.
You talked about the turnovers. How do they get the turnovers? Well, they're going to have to force some. And I think that's – you asked who were some of the names that need to step up outside of the obvious ones. How about that secondary? They've been really disruptive this year. Evan Johnson, Tanner Wall, and Falatau Satuwala have combined for 11 interceptions this year.
Yeah.
Who came up big in the Utah game? Tanner Wall. Who came up big in remember the East Carolina game when they absolutely had to have a play? Evan Johnson. Baron Morton is not an All-American.
No.
Baron Morton. You saw what Utah was able to do with Baron Morton. He didn't do anything to Utah in that game. They took shots again and again and again at Utah's secondary, and Utah's secondary stood firm. That was not the problem in that game. Texas Tech did not throw the ball all over Utah in that game.
So Dickey's a really, really good back, and he's the second best running back in the conference.
So you've got to key out. You can't let him get going in the run game. So what do? You're going to have to leave guys like Evan Johnson on an island a little bit in single coverage, but you can trust that these guys are going to be able to do that. And Baron Morton's going to want to take some of those shots. Can these guys make something happen when he tries to do that? They're going to need big turnovers And I think you point at the secondary as a group that's shown that they can force those turnovers. If those guys have a big day and they can make some plays, picking off a couple passes, that can change everything in this game.
If Texas Tech scores touchdowns, make them do that on a 15-play drive.
Yes, 100%.
Because I think the more you keep them out there on the field, the more apt they are to make a mistake and give you a gimme here and there or kick field goals. If you can hold them to, Hans put the number at 27. I think it's actually a little lower. I think BYU can win this game with 26, 24 points. I think it could be a 24-17, 24-21 game because I think this defense from BYU is going to play much, much better than they did in Lubbock.
I think the reason that Texas Tech scores so many points too is they wear down those defenses so much too. Like,
what happened to Utah?
And their
it was 13-10 going in the fourth quarter, and that defense for Utah had been on the field for so long. They finally wore them out, and they stopped getting those stops in the run game. They ran all over them. They were able to throw passes deep finally. Everything opened up for Texas Tech in the Utah game in the fourth quarter. BYU can't allow that Texas Tech offense to wear down their defense with that ball control. BYU's the team that has to control the ball. That's what Arizona State was able to do. Arizona State controlled the ball. Arizona State threw over the top against Texas Tech and had success doing that. That's the recipe for beating Texas Tech. It's not easy. That team's really talented. You're not going to beat them up front. You're not going to be able to run in between the tackles. You're going to have to try a little bit, but that's not where you're going to make it in this game. You have to be able to take shots over the top. Can Bear do that? Is Chase Roberts ready to have a big game? Is he healthy? That's a big question for me. But Bear's got to grow up in this game. He has all year. He's answered the bell in almost every moment. Is he ready for this one to step up and say, okay, this is game what, 13? You're not a freshman anymore. Go out there and win this team a championship.
Texas Tech is giving up 68 yards a game on the ground.
That's crazy.
That's it. Where does BYU need? I say if they are at 120 or above, they win this game.
And that's about right for them. What are they per game? They're they're like 175-ish as a team. And by
the way, Texas Tech on average 193 yards a game on the ground.
On the ground, yeah. And like I said, they've got two really good backs. And you're right though. Baron Morton is not like he's throwing the ball all over the place. And he's not. People don't look at Baron Morton and go, "That's a top 2 quarterback in the league." He's probably not even a top.
He's not top 5 in the Big 12 in my opinion.
He's not going to be. He's not like. I mean, you think about the guys who are losing games for their teams and they're leading the country in passing. Baron Morton gets the job done. I wouldn't go as far as to call him a game manager because he kind of like commands that whole team really respects him and they like what he does. But they run the football really, really well.
I mean, the backup quarterback did more damage against Utah than that Will Hammond kid.
PK has already said he wants to go. Did he say he wants him to go full Sean Payton?
Got to take him out
on them and
cut off the head.
And the head of the snake.
Get Morton figured out, and then after that, you got some rando coming in at your third quarterback on the season. So, all right, we'll take another break here. We'll come back when we do. We're about 15 minutes away from the College Football Playoff Committee getting together and having a semi-formal discussion about what this thing's going to look like. I'm going
to throw our French fries at the screen here in about 20 minutes.
From the Gaylord Hotel in Grapevine, Texas. I'm glad they all flew into DFW just to have this conversation.
What a waste of time.
This could have been done over Zoom.
Oh yeah, no, that's the one thing. Like these guys don't get paid, but the perks. They're eating well.
Yeah, so we'll see what they have to say about it. And this penultimate ranking will not matter, but I think it'll get people looking at it and going, okay, we're seeing how this thing's going to get set up here. We'll take a break. We're at JCW's in American Fork. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. You know what that means? I've got some tickets for you to give away. All you have to do is be caller number 12, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. You get yourself a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Thunder coming up on Sunday at Delta Center, December 7th. So give us a call right now. We'll give those tickets away, and we've got another pair to give away next hour on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo, woo, woo!
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. We're 5 minutes away from the top of the hour. We're anticipating ESPN going through, and just a formality for this week, the second to last rankings of the college football playoff is going to roll out here at the top of the hour. It'll be interesting to see what they do. What's been weird is watching the AP just kind of kick Utah backward every week, and you're kind of going, what are we doing here? And then when you realize, they kind of have this Miami thing, even at the AP level, even though the AP rankings don't matter at all after week 8 or week 9 or whenever we see the first college football playoff rankings, they matter going into it, because if you think that people aren't affected by it, like when the college football playoff committee says, we just go fresh, we look at everything fresh, it's like, no, you don't.
By the way,
absolutely not.
44 seconds ago, BYU just sent it out.
They made it. They made it.
It is official. Kalani Sitake extended. A great day to be a Coug.
Well, and on top of that, not only was it made official on Twitter or on X that BYU has extended Kalani, we also have a BYU football press conference that is going to run at 5:30. We're anticipating taking that BYU football press conference live as well at 5:30, which I think we'll be able to get. I'm sure they'll roll out all the details, money, all of that.
Yeah. I think they should, just for fun. Be like, his coaching pool is $15 million. He's making $9 million.
NIL,
we're going another $20 million. So
goodness.
if you want some of this, come to BYU. Make it a recruiting tool.
You know what? The splash that basketball has left a lasting impression on how things have kind of gone in Provo, and I'm telling you, there's a standard, and obviously I don't think it's going to go that direction, but you will see. I think you'll see a very happy Brian Santiago opening up that press conference and able to say that they're going to they're extending Kalani, and I think that they're just glad to be putting this thing behind them because then they can get ready for this football game. Let me ask you guys this though before we get out one last time here. Going down to Arlington, getting this thing done, is there a version of keeping this game close that BYU is able to sneak into the college football playoff? They're a 13-point.
No.
I mean, they're essentially a 2-touchdown dog. They're the only way.
I hate it.
The only two teams that get, or the only way two Big 12 teams gets in if BYU upsets Texas Tech.
The committee has already made it clear that they already rate BYU below those 2 loss teams. A second loss completely eliminates them.
So does the strength of record thing that they bring up a lot? That doesn't matter. Actually.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think they're even using their own metrics. It's a beauty pageant. This is a made-for-TV event.
It's a reality show.
They're doing what I think that ESPN wants them to do, and that's why there's going to be 5 SEC teams.
Yeah, when you have the ESPN overlords, will tell you what you want and where you're going to be. And I was talking to a guy up at Utah State. I'm like, a bowl game? We go where ESPN's going to tell us to go. That's the bowl game we're going to go to.
ESPN Events makes the call,
yeah.
And they say, this will be the bowl game that you do, and here are going to be the terms of it, and there you go.
And you'll like it.
All right.
They sign the checks. That's where the power is.
All right. Hey, before we get out here, you can nominate the U Sports Volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week award. All you have to do is just go to KSLSports.com/contest. And nominate that U Sports Volunteer, and then they win a prize, and we'll roll out their names every Thursday afternoon on our program, and we celebrate the efforts of those youth sports volunteers doing an awesome job in their neighborhoods. Just go to KSLSports.com/contest, and it's all brought to you by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. We're going to get a press conference at 5:30 from the BYU football offices. We'll be able to stream that to you live as well, on top of the fact that we have the College Football Playoff Rankings Week 14 edition coming up as well. Stay with us. Scotty, thanks for hanging out.
You got it.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Safe travels back up north, man. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. Got more to go. Stay here. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen. We are live for our college football Big 12 Roundtable here at the JCW's in American Fork, and they're already rolling out all of the rankings, the college football rankings coming out now. of the 14th week of the college football playoff. Now, interestingly enough, as we're watching this thing roll out, and they're already up to 16 here. 20 is Tulane, 19 Michigan, 18 Arizona after that win over Arizona State, Virginia to 17, and then USC to 16. I'll have to come back and get that top 20 there. Joining us right now, by the way, we're at the JCW's in American Fork, and he's nice enough to come over here into Utah County. Well, he lives in Utah County, but he's nice enough to come across freeway here. And Hans Olsen. Hans, you just have on your phone right there the extended bam. So you got bam. Kalani gets officially extended. We got the press conference that's coming up at 5:30. It's probably a massive sigh of relief for the folks here in Utah County.
It's a big day, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a huge day.
So my question is that now they're just focused 100% on football. Now they can just go right to the X's and O's, right?
Yeah, sure. I just sent out. I just retweeted the image. I said it looks like Kalani Sitake is challenging me to an arm wrestle.
You know what?
And
It'd be a good one to watch too.
And then I tagged him. I said, Kalani, you know how'd that go? I'd whoop him like I've always whooped him in arm wrestling. The dude might be able to buy me and have me killed, but I could arm wrestle him.
Yeah.
I know I could beat him.
You still got that on him.
I know I've got that on him.
Are you seeing this, by the way? The college football rankings are coming out. Utah down 2 spots to 15 in replacement
I can't
of
really
Utah.
argue after the last 2 games.
In replacement of Utah at 13, Texas is 13, Vanderbilt 14, so Utah 15. I'm
Texas ahead of Vanderbilt.
I know. That's
disrespectful.
They went up from 16 to 13. Now I get it. They beat the number 3 team in the country. But as you watch this thing go down,
flawed number 3
and
team
Hans, we were talking about how annoyed we were going to be already with this, as Miami is number 12 again this week, and they stay pat there because they won and they beat Pitt, and they were expected to beat Pitt, and now it's going to be a waiting game to see if they'd be an at-large. But how is the college football playoff committee? I don't know. It just seems like they just seem to be kind of just grasping at ways to figure out how to put the teams in that they want from the very, very beginning. And it just doesn't seem to change that much because you're going to see BYU at 11. You're going to see the same 10, 9, 8, 7, maybe 7 changes as BYU has just rolled out as 11 right there, right where they were last week. So the college football playoff rankings a little bit of a head-scratcher because they say every week they're going to reset and re-rank everything, and it just seems like it stays the same.
Could you imagine if BYU had lost to Florida in early October?
Apparently, that's the secret.
Let's say BYU had a loss to Florida, a loss to Texas Tech, and then, I don't know, let's just say a loss to who's the next highest ranked right now, the Big 12?
It would have been Utah right behind BYU.
Okay,
yeah. So Utah at 15.
Let's say a loss to Utah, a loss to Florida, and a loss to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what Texas has right now. They've got the loss to Ohio State, loss to Georgia, and the loss to Florida. That Florida team's just not a good team. And had they fired their coach?
They already hired their coach. They already hired Sumrall. So
the Tulane coach is headed to Florida.
Yeah, so Notre Dame actually goes down 1 spot to number 10.
Interesting.
They were 9th last week. I'm assuming that's going to be because they're going to make room in that 7, 8, 9 kind of area to jam Texas A&M. But the Fighting Irish have all, but I mean, they don't have to do a thing. They don't have to play in a conference championship game. Their regular season ended. Now they're just going to watch as everything kind of falls into place for them to get into the playoff.
And they're going to be number 10 in the college football playoff final rankings. I guarantee it.
Alabama goes up from 10th to 9th after their week and their win over LSU. Interesting. I wouldn't have pictured that, but I guess it doesn't really change anything because in the end, those 2 spots are going to be accounted for. 9 and 10 will have places in the college football playoff.
If Alabama loses to Georgia, they're out. If they win, they're in automatically. So it doesn't really matter. They're kind of in the same spot as BYU is.
So would that be able to push BYU up to that number 10 spot then? If Alabama loses,
well, if BYU wins, then they're automatically in. But if BYU loses, they're not going to move up at all.
Yeah, getting dinged for playing in a conference championship game when the other
and that's
team
exactly the truth. Is
wild,
you
right?
get punished for making a conference championship game if you don't win the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. There's no incentive to play in these games.
Yeah. So these are rolling out as we're watching them, and Oklahoma is number 8 here. So we're kind of walking through that. Obviously, the biggest news of the day is that Kalani Sitake is going to walk away from the Penn State opportunity that was apparently there for him, and he's going to get extended as the head coach at BYU. How big of a deal is this, Hans? From a short-term perspective, obviously it's good news because then I think the team can focus a lot more this week on all that, and they don't have to worry about whether or not they might be looking at other teams or hitting the transfer portal, all those things that come with all those conversations. What does this do for the long-term health of BYU's football program to have Kalani Sitake staying there long-term?
Well, I think it's interesting because you go back to when Kalani Sitake announced during the Big 12 Championship press conference, and he said, "This is good for us," or, something along the lines of, "This is good for us."
It was a good distraction is what it was. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, he knew. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knew what was happening. He knew what the Penn State offer meant. What the Penn State offer meant was for him to force BYU to be more committed to football. And what he did with it was leveraged it and said, I'm going to get more in NIL, more assistant coaches, more for me, more for my players, which means you're all more invested, which means we're all going to win together. Or I'm going to leave. I talked about this on the show today. Kyle Whittingham, even though Kalani's been around a lot of mentors, Kyle Whittingham was his number one mentor. Yeah. And you watch Kyle, every time he got leverage, what did he do with it? He leaned into it, got 100%. New facilities, got extensions, got his assistant coaches multi-year deals. Yeah. Not just paid, but multi-year deals where all of a sudden that became the norm. And he worked it. Every time he had leverage, he worked it. That's the vein Kalani comes from. He saw his opportunity to work it. He said it in the presser. As soon as he said it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's good for us. No. Right now the perception is it's good for you. But if you know Kalani Sitake, it is good for us.
Yeah.
Because he's not out for himself. He's out for the betterment of that program. And he knows he owes it. He owes it to all of us. He owes it to me as a former player. He owes it to Lavelle Edwards as his first mentor. He owes it to anybody that's ever put the BYU logo on and bought a ticket to go into that stadium. He owes it to them to force the organization to get better. Crap or get off the pot. We're either going to keep winning these and we're going to get better, or we're just going to stop competing, and I'm going to go where I can compete. Because this has to be really frustrating to Kalani. Sitting here on a Tuesday night, watching BYU check in at number 11, after finishing the season, whooping a couple of teams. I know they were sleeping in the first quarter, UCF, but 41-7 through 3 quarters.
Oh, yeah.
The committee has to see it. Imagine Kalani sitting, he just gave up Penn State. He could be 9-3 with Penn State right now and be knocking on the door if he had the right schedule.
He'd probably be 11th.
Yeah, and knocking on the door if he had the right schedule.
Sure.
And
11-1 at Penn State, by the way, he's number 4 in the country.
Right. He gets a bye.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Are you kidding me? Not even close.
And maybe not even playing in the Big Ten championship game, because that could be like an Indiana. And it'd be better for him. They beat me 3 or 4
locked
by
in.
the time it was
But I can remember like some of the negotiations and some of the leveraging and some of the manipulation that Kyle Whittingham imposed on Chris Hill and imposed on presidents and imposed on anybody that was like, hey, will you stay? Yeah, like Tennessee's nice. Yeah, I'd like to stay. I'd like to build a legacy, but this is how it's going to go. We're going to build new structures. We're going to be the best recruiters. You remember, as far as documented recruiting spending in the Pac-12, Utah was number 1. Yep. USC obviously undocumented because it's a private university.
Right.
Utah was number 1 in recruiting spending. And look at what it did for him.
Paid
Gave
off.
him a couple of Pac-12 championships. Kalani's looking at it like, okay, Kyle, what'd you do? Mm-hmm. Tennessee came calling, what'd you do? Well, I stayed for legacy. But I didn't tell the school that. I told the school I could go win. I could have everything I want. Or we could do that here. So when you ask me, what does it mean for the university?
It's a legend move.
Dude,
Yeah.
this changes everything because for the next 6 years, BYU is pot committed.
This is big business. Leverage is power. And Kalani found the leverage he needed to get this done and to get what he knows he needs in order for this program to take the next step. He's looking across the way at Texas Tech. They got all this money. They got David Bailey. They got Rodriguez.
Took them 1 year, by the way, with all that. Took them
That's
1
all
year.
it took.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, how are we going to compete against these guys? This is how.
Yeah.
He got the leverage he needed. He gets the extra 10 to 15 million of NIL. This last 24 hours, as much panic that set in Cougar Nation, and all of you listening out there, you were worried that Kalani was going to leave. I don't know what your level was during the day. I didn't talk to you about it.
Not much.
Okay, so you knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I knew.
I figured I knew what he was doing.
But you got to play into the game.
This is how the game is played.
You got to play into the game.
And he played it well.
Yeah.
And he got the perfect opportunity with a blue blood like Penn State that came calling. BYU had no choice. The donors had no choice. They had to step up. And this last 24 hours, it's going to be looked back on as a very important 24 hours in BYU football history because now they're going to get the resources that they need moving forward to take the next step as a competitive force. You looked at what we just saw with – you're absolutely right. They're 11th in the college football playoff rankings with one loss. It's BS. It's baloney. We all know
It's terrible.
It's a joke. Okay, the committee is plugging all these SEC teams in front of them for a reason. How are you going to blow that door open? You got to have more resources. You got to go get better players. But when you get to that playoff, you've got to win. And you do that with better players.
Yeah.
And this is going to enable him to do that. He's going to keep the same assistants. This is how BYU moves forward and competes at the level that Kalani wants them to, and they believe they can. They're using all the resources now.
You know, it's wild.
They're using all their resources.
Because, you know, and coaches can get extended at any time for an extra amount of time, and they do periodically. But the reality is that Kalani is going to be here, and he'll end up being the second longest tenured head coach in BYU football history. As of next year, he'll be that or in the next 2 years he will be. But you're talking about a guy who could be here 15, 18 years after all is said and done just off of this extension. And then you're talking about a guy who starts to approach that time frame that his mentor, Lavelle Edwards, obviously set forward for him. And by the way, we were talking about this, I think, with DJ in the first hour. It's like, so where is this right now? Because the idea was basketball's getting all this attention. Look at what basketball's done. Basketball has set the standard, and you got to kind of thank all the things that went on there at the basketball side of things, because now football goes, well, you kind of want to be treated the same way, and I think they've gotten to that point now. I mean, that's what we're looking at now, is a football program that is matching the attitude of what the basketball team has been doing, and that's how you get to win. And by the way, if your football and basketball teams are really, really good programs, what a better way. I mean, no better way for BYU to get the attention that they want from stuff like this, which is you get people interested in your university. You get people interested in what's going on, and then you're able to keep some of these great players. And it's interesting because then they all look too. And then tomorrow when the early signing day happens, you keep the guys that you were anticipating you were going to keep, and you also turn the heads of other people who maybe were wondering about it, who go, I might take a second look at it. Maybe I'll take till February to make that extra decision. That kind of stuff happens. So it's a phenomenal move. It had to happen today, otherwise tomorrow would have gotten really, really weird and really awkward.
Yeah. So Hans, now they can focus on football. That's what we really want to talk about this week. This is all done. We're going to hear more about it coming up at 5:30. I believe there's a press conference we're going to take live down in Provo. So I want to get your thoughts on the game Saturday. We've been talking about it with everybody else on the show today. After the way the first game went, and the way that Texas Tech has played. Now, by the way, Texas Tech is number 4 in the college football playoff rankings. They are in a perfect position for them to get a bye. They have a lot to play for on Saturday. Their fans have been waiting for this for a long, long time. How does BYU go in there? How is it going to be different this time for BYU? What has to happen?
Well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that can be better. Just the surface things. No muffed punts. No shanked punts. No interceptions. No failed laterals.
I forgot about the Vanderhart. Sam had a bad day that day.
Yeah, he had 2 shanked punts that were really painful. No failed laterals. You need LJ Martin to be 95%, not 62%.
Yeah.
Which I think that's about where he's at. He's up in the 90s. Feels like he's pretty darn healthy right now.
I almost felt like the mental side of his game. He talked about it afterward too. Like, obviously, if you're not feeling 100%, like mentally, he's like, I wasn't confident.
No, it's warfare.
It was terrible.
It's warfare, and at the college level, it's warfare. At the NFL, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because you feel like in the NFL, if I'm not 105%, if I'm 80%, there's no way. I can't compete. These are the best athletes in the world. So it's really tough. It plays major mind games with you, especially as physical as LJ Martin plays. He doesn't play like a Barry Sanders. He plays more like a Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
And he's just so physical. He's physical in his blitz pickups, and he's physical in his exterior blocking, and he's physical in in setting pockets and physical and downhill runs, so he needs to be healthy. The offense needs to open up. If you want to get into just some of the technical parts, the schematic parts, 6 max setting a pocket. Max. Cannot go 7 max protect. Can't.
Yeah.
It hampers the 3 receivers that are en route. If you don't have 4 receivers en route, it's just so easy, especially with a lengthy, rangy bird dog like Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He gets everywhere, and he gets everywhere quick.
And he punches the ball out. It seems like every game he punches one out for him. It's amazing.
So you've got to have 4 en route. Really, realistically, you got to have 5. So I've harped on this, and I harped on it during the UCF broadcast because they were going 5-on-4 against UCF. You're going to have to tell your big boys to grow up. You're going to have to remind Andrew Gentry, hey, you're getting paid to do this. Jada, you're getting paid to do this. And I know you got a couple of great ones in David Bailey and Romello Height, but you're getting paid. So we're going to have to go some 4-on-5 here, boys.
This is a big opportunity for you to get some NFL film.
Is Waylon Lapwaho going to be able to go then? Was he?
No, not that I've heard of.
Okay.
I don't know. Has the initial injury?
No, I think they do the same thing, like a Wednesday schedule.
Don't know
tomorrow.
yet. That's not out yet.
Yeah.
Haven't heard, but I wouldn't assume so.
Okay.
But I don't know. Waylon's one of the tougher dudes out there. Austin Leusa got hurt, but he came back in that game, so I was glad to see him come back.
And he and Gentry kind of do that swapping thing anyway, and so that kind of that would. But that's the Waylon Lapwaho thing to me is tough because I think they miss him. I think they miss that dude. That dude's presence.
He was good. He was really good depth, but I actually think Kyle Safarchuk is confident and is able. I just like Waylon's leadership, and I also like his toughness because. Not that he'd ever throw a punch, but he'd be the first one to throw the punch in the bar. He's that kind of confident. And Kyle Safarchuk is very good, very, very good offensive lineman. But he's also good for a false start here and there. And if I remember right, the Tech game, I think he had a false start in one of the opening. I can't remember. I think it was Kyle Safarchuk had a false start in one of the drives. And anyways, it was. That's the other thing. You can't have any negative plays against Texas Tech. I have to be at a minimum. I got to be 2nd and 7. I can't have a false start 1st and 15, get myself to 2nd and 12, and think I'm going to fight my way out of 2nd and 12. Not with this bird hawking defense. It's just
you've got
ball hawking defense.
You've got the boards in front of you, and it looks like they're from the actual. So that's from your first time around because it has their records on there, and you had a bunch of stuff scribbled on there. What do you take away from that defense? Like, what's the thing that you looked at and you went, we have all these names on here that are phenomenal players that are all-American caliber. Rodriguez obviously is one of those guys.
Yeah.
But that defensive front and the front 7 are maybe the best in the entire country. It's like every week the Big 12 would roll out best defensive line of the week was always, it seemed like, Texas Tech. What were you impressed by with what they do and with what names like David Bailey do off the edge there, and what kind of a difference those big names have been for them that they got out of the transfer portal? They got a lot of transfers that came in that they're able to bring in.
Well, the thing I take away from this Tech defense is they're universal. They do everything well, which means I can't pigeonhole myself offensively. I have to have everything at my disposal. I've got to be able to hit play actions downfield. I've got to be able to hit quick slants, and I've got to be able to hit a B gap off some type of zone dive. I have to have it all, because if they find that I'm narrowed down to 3 or 4 things, they're too good. They'll smash you out. They'll hold you to 6 points. They won't let you breathe. They're just too universally good. That's why I'm saying, boys, if this offensive line can't man up, and pick up the 4 downs, and they can't go with a 6-man protection and expect L.J. Martin to be able to step up, pick the 5th man coming in on pressure, and they're having to go max protect, and they're having to run everything super conservative, they're done. But Roderick knows that. Now, he also knows that he risks looking really bad, giving up pressures, giving up sacks, giving up pressures that lead to interceptions, giving up sacks that lead to strip fumbles. As you guys mentioned, Jacob Rodriguez doesn't just show up to make the tackle. He shows up to force the ball out. Not just Jacob Rodriguez, everybody on this team. In fact, I thought one of one of the craziest stats when I was putting all my numbers together getting ready for this weekend was Texas Tech and their turnover margin. Number 4 in the country at plus 13.
That's pretty good.
Now, BYU's incredible at plus 12. Shockingly incredible. They've had 22 turnovers that they've forced, 10 that they've lost. Texas Tech has forced 27 turnovers and only lost 14. And they do that because their defense is universal. Yeah. And they're almost split interceptions to fumbles. It's pretty close to split.
Let's take a break here. We'll come back. We're anticipating the presser coming out of Provo. This program, of course, is top of the hour, always brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. It's Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. And JCW is where we are doing our Big 12 championship breakdown, a roundtable today. Look, they do it better than anybody else. Like I said, across the board, the menu's phenomenal, top to bottom. There's not a thing on there that you can order that you'll go, I didn't really like that. They do it so well, top to bottom. They're the burger boys, but they do everything awesome. The salads, the fish and chips, the wings, all of it, on top of the fact that you get the best burgers around as well. They are the burger boys. Best burger in Utah. Come check it out for yourself. JCW's. We're at the One American Fork. They've got locations everywhere, though. Let's take that break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. We're anticipating a press conference from Provo. Stay right here with us as they announce Kalani Sitake officially being extended at BYU as the head coach. Right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing. When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at JCW's for our Big 12 Championship Roundtable. And we're anticipating. We didn't think this was going to happen. We knew that we were like, hey, I think we might be good to have a JCW's Roundtable with the Big 12 Championship. I think Utah or BYU's either one of those teams are going to get in. You know, like 6 weeks ago when we were trying to plan this thing out. Tell you what we didn't plan out was Kalani Sitake possibly going to Penn State and then bailing out of that and committing to BYU, and BYU extending Kalani Sitake in a press conference featuring Kalani Sitake that we're anticipating from Provo here in the next couple of minutes here as we go along. So it's a pretty cool thing. I think Hans, you brought it up. It's like, look, does BYU get pushed into the future if a move like this doesn't happen from the spending standpoint and from the playing with the big boys standpoint?
Yeah, no, this sets the high water mark. This sets the standard. Now, I was joking about it in the break, but if Kevin Young makes it to a Final Four, now it's just going to be one pushes the other.
Yeah.
Because I can promise you, when the Kevin Young contract was leaked, whether those numbers were accurate or not, Kalani and his team saw and heard those numbers and said, what? Mm-hmm. Wait a second. What about my staff? What about football? We are the program here. And now Kevin Young gets to a Final Four, and he'll say, whoa, did football bring in the number one recruit in the country? Did they just make you payouts for the next 6 years? What is – I can't remember. What is an NCAA tournament game payout?
Yeah,
is it like
right.
6 years it goes on, doesn't it?
For the Final Four, I'd have to look that up. But
it's a long distribution.
We all know it's significant when you get to that point. Absolutely.
It just pays you every year.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting reoccurring revenue. What? Where's mine? I need more so we can get more number ones. So what this is going to do is it's just forcing competition inside the athletic department, and it's nothing but good for BYU.
Good. It's healthy.
One of the things that came up, and we're going to be able to hear from Kalani and Brian Santiago, the press release said, and Brian Santiago's not been at this even a year officially. What has the impact been with him? Because a lot of talk has been about whether or not Kalani, quote-unquote, gets along with Brian Santiago, and I think that people read a lot into that, and I don't necessarily know if that – there was a lot of talk about whether or not Brian Santiago was going to be able to figure this out or pull this off or whatever it is, but a year in now, all the things that he said he wanted to do when he first got in, they're coming to life.
Yeah, to quote Coach Prime, that's bull stuff.
that they don't get along. All this.
What
like,
is Coach Prime? Is it
bull
junk?
Bull junk.
Bull junk.
Yeah.
That's bull junk.
That's bull junk.
It is. It's bull junk. And this is all generated out of jealousy, inaccuracy, rumor. It's it's ridiculous. I sent out a tweet. I hope everybody's deleting their mean tweets. Just delete your mean tweets. You look stupid.
You saw the reaction yesterday, and I think it's I think it was healthy for everybody to wonder what life would be like without Kalani Sitake at BYU.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they all.
You
had
saw the
picture.
panic set in when a lot of people realized this could be real. This is real.
But anybody thinking that Brian Santiago was like, no, we could do without Kalani, you're out of your minds.
Yeah, right.
Well,
you're out of your minds.
Look, I fail also to think. I mean, like, I just want you to imagine what your relationship is like with somebody who is, I don't know, the CFO at your company and you're a financial advisor. Like, are you best friends at every level with all those people? The answer is never, almost never, of course. I'll tell you what, it's because it's a working professional relationship. And I'll tell you what, Brian Santiago wasn't accidentally, like, given this opportunity. There was a spot right there. They saw the opportunity. And, by the way, he was the guy who made a lot of the basketball stuff happen that has facilitated the very things that we've been talking about here. And guess what? When he sat down at his first press conference, what was the first thing he said he wanted to do? Figure out football, extend Kalani, get that staff figured out, and here we are.
Just so everybody knows that the dynamics of an athletic director at BYU are much different than anybody else's responsibility and role. Brian Santiago has a fiscal responsibility that the athletic director at Colorado didn't have when he hired Coach Prime with money he didn't have.
As we've learned.
The way the church operates, just so people understand, if you build a building on BYU's campus, you have to have the full amount for the cost of the build, and you got to have a 10-year set-aside account to be able to pay for the maintenance, to pay for the lights, and to pay for the employees. You got to have 10 years set aside. It's the same way with these coaches. It's not like, hey, we're going to figure this out. What we're going to do is we're going to take a number generated off of our revenue income over the next 6 years off TV distribution. We're going to extrapolate that from our no, it's, do we have the money? If we've got the money right now, we got to have $66 million. Or we've got to have $58 million or whatever the amount is to be able to extend them. It's so much different. People don't understand what Brian Santiago or Tom Homo deals with.
Right.
And
I do to a certain extent.
And that's why the relationship with the boosters and the donors is so important.
Yes, because you've got to have the money.
BYU itself is not going to do this. You must do this in a partnership with the people who can finance it. And we all know who those people are right now and how that went.
You can't run on handshakes, promises, and contracts. You've got to have the proof. The brethren that run BYU are not going to sit there and get risky with this and be like, can we afford it? Somebody has to go to them and say, yes, we can afford it. Oh, and by the way, with $9.5 million a year, this is what we see our return as.
And here are the safety things to make sure that we're not doing something wild here, because they can't hear that something's being wild anyway. But so in that sense, Brian Santiago sitting down with Keith Forking, who's the vice president over his department, and then Shane Reese has, I think, also been a massive add, I think, as an ally in that. And by the way, you need to have a president of a university nowadays, in every university, who's being serious about this kind of stuff. They have to be on board. You don't have to go and convince a guy like Shane Reese how important sports are, and that's a huge thing as well.
No doubt. And we're seeing it play out. And everything is perfectly worked out for BYU for this day to happen.
To have a lot of success.
Yes.
For a long time.
And don't discount 11-1 and back-to-back 11-win seasons in the Big 12.
People need to, and I'll say, this is the third time I'm saying it today on these airwaves. People need to look how Kyle Whittingham built Utah.
Yeah.
This is how he built it. When assistants didn't get the job done, he fired them. When he got the leverage, he used it. When he got the recruiting edge, he took it. He identified a few things that were going to really be the catalyst to send him into the stratosphere, making sure he beats his rival, doing it for 9 straight games, whatever, 10 years, 11 years, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. He knew what he needed to do to shoot that school beyond heights they'd ever been. Kalani took notes, and that's what this is. Kalani's like, that was awesome, Kyle. Now watch me do it with BYU.
I bet. I mean, I wouldn't know this for sure, but I mean, Lane Kiffin talked about a lot this week about how much he's like, I missed not being able to talk to my dad about this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that maybe you dip in and you go, hey, Kyle, how would you handle this? What do you do? How did you do it? Or at least to watch and see what he did and go.
Well, and I'll tell you
right now.
I'll tell you how Kyle would handle it. Like a cutthroat, fearless warrior. And I guarantee that if it comes push to shove and Kalani's sitting across the table, and if he's feeling like Penn State's not enough leverage, it's, hey, how are you going to do when I take Aaron Roderick, Fesi Sitake, Harvey Young? How are you going to do when I take Bear Bachmeier?
K-pop.
How are you going to do when I take whoever I want to take?
Yeah.
How's that going to look for you? Good luck rebuilding that.
It'd be so.
Okay, so you think you're just going to hire Jay Hill and all's fine and good? Jay's going to sit there for 3 years in a rebuild, trying to figure out who to hire, how to hire, how to even adapt to BYU, the whole culture of it as a head coach.
And then after that, wonder if he still wants to be there after 3 years of it being a struggle.
I'm just telling you, man. You know, when you get into these high-ranking negotiations, and BYU's like, oh no, we're going to give you a nice raise, and we're going to. I'm not talking about a raise. I'm talking about historical numbers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about winning multiple Big 12 championships. I'm talking about being a CFP power. I'm not talking about a little raise. What we're going to do is we're going to rebuild facilities. We're going to be number one in recruiting. I'm going to make sure if I can keep Jay Hill, I'm going to keep Jay Hill. I'm going to make him the highest paid defensive coordinator so he'll never go anywhere. I'm going to keep his family happy, and I'm going to do that for every one of these assistants. What are you talking about, a raise? You can take your raise and you can go fly a kite. I'll go to Penn State. I'll do it right now. Raise. What a joke.
And if it's not Penn State, it's somewhere else.
Hey,
right?
And by the way, for anybody that's wronging Brian Santiago or the university for trying to do what they could to save and salvage, they have to.
That's their job.
Growing up in this religion, we all understand the dynamics.
Right. We
all know the fiscal responsibility. We all understand the optics of a church employee making $9.5 million. It's probably the highest paid church employee.
Not probably.
Well, I'm thinking the church does have financial advisors that I'm sure.
They might clear on some that.
Yeah, I'll clear on some bonuses or something. But
if on three's correct, he's looking at roughly $9 to $9.5 million annually, plus $10 to $15 million of NIL.
And
on top of revenue sharing. On top of revenue sharing.
And by the way,
that's $20 million.
I don't trust those numbers at all. Because I know the Kevin Young numbers were skewed. I know all these numbers are skewed. But let's just say it's a ballpark.
Right.
Yeah. Let's say it's 7.5. Let's say what it is.
Let's just say it's a
Kyle
ballpark.
at the end of everything, yeah.
But we also need to know, everybody needs to know, any number that comes out of BYU, it is manipulated and used for whatever the coach, the university, the agent, whatever they want to leverage and use it for. Any number that comes out. Because I've known these guys for a lot of years, and I've known a lot of BYU employees, and I've never got to the bottom of the actuality of it. I've never seen a factual number just, well, I'm making X amount.
How many of you listening right now know how much money your coworkers make? That's pretty common.
Let's take a quick break.
We're not all out here sharing what we make.
We've got our eyes.
Alex making more than me and you.
That's why I'm going to break. So I didn't want to talk. I'm very uncomfortable. No, I'm going to let's take a quick break here. When we come back, I've got our eyes on the stream here. As soon as it happens, we'll bring it right to you. We're going to sneak a break in here. We're at JCW's in American Fork. Stay with us. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. All right, we're going to go straight to Provo, a press conference right now. Brian Santiago, the athletic director of BYU, announcing an extension of Kalani Sitake as the head coach. Let's listen to it.
To read this statement. In many ways, Kalani Sitake is a public face of Brigham Young University. He leads our most prominent athletic team, and you couldn't ask for a better exemplar of the Christ-centered values for which this university stands. In saying that, I also communicate the great trust and confidence of BYU's Board of Trustees that they have in Kalani Sitake's unwavering commitment to BYU's mission, which helps to build student athletes who learn by studying and by faith. Someone recently said that BYU wants to win, but BYU wants to win as a family. Kalani is family, and we couldn't be more pleased that he'll be staying at BYU for all the right reasons, and leading our football program into the Big 12 championship this week. And I'll just second President's words. We're so excited for all that Kalani represents and for the future of him leading our football program.
Thanks,
Thank
Keith.
you, Pete.
Thanks. This, as I mentioned, is a pretty exciting day, and we're really excited to announce that Kalani Sitake is going to be BYU's football coach long into the future. We, as an athletic department and university, are making a significant investment to make sure that we have a football program that is set up and prepared to have success for the future. One of the things that's been most impressive in this process is what Kalani really is all about. This is a great football coach, but this is one of the great people on planet Earth. He's committed to everything that's good. He's committed to not only running a first-class football program, he's so committed to his staff, everyone in the building. He cares about every single person that is part of this program. And maybe most importantly, he's all in for these players. There weren't very many times in this process that he was talking about himself, talking about his own compensation. He was talking about, I want to take care of all the people around me. And that's what tells you a lot about Kalani Sitake. The other part of this that's pretty awesome is Kalani is in this with his family. Not only Timberly, his amazing wife and his children, but his dad. And Pops is right back there. He's a big part of this program too. And we're grateful to you, Pops. Grateful to you for your commitment, not only to this program, but for raising such a great man in Kalani. I just want to add too, when you get in the trenches of college athletics, you want to do it every day with people that you love and that you can actually have a great time with. And I'm most excited about walking the path with Kalani and continuing to see him build men that aren't only going to do incredible things on the football field, but he's preparing these young men to go and change the world. And the culture that he's built here is second to none. And we're not just investing in a football program. We're investing in Kalani Sitake. I'm grateful to be here and sit next to him as the athletic director, but more importantly as a friend and a confidant. Let's go.
Appreciate it. Thank you for everyone being here, and I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you, Keith. Kind words from President. First of all, I just want to express my gratitude to our President, President Reese, and our Vice President, Keith Warkink, and then also our Athletic Director, Brian Santiago, their leadership, and just doing this. I mean, if I'm being honest, I just want to be here long. You know, that's what it's all about. I've had amazing mentors along the way, including Lavelle Edwards and Kyle Whittingham, who like sticking where they're at, and I appreciate all their examples to me. And so this is a place that I want to be for the long run. And luckily, I grew up cheering for this team, and I played here too. So it helps to play for the legend Lavelle Edwards. I also want to show my gratitude and appreciation to the leadership of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for allowing us to be a great partner in the Big 12, but also to function well as a program. And the goal here was for me not only to be here for a long time, but also to take care of my coaching staff and my support staff. And this allows us to do that, and also to take care of our players. So there's a strong commitment from the university to do those things, and that speaks to my heart. And so that was easy for me to agree to do that if they took care of my people, like Brian said. And then I want to express my love to my family. Pops, all my family. I mean, I got tons of cousins, you guys know. Even some that claim me that we're not blood related, but it's okay. But thankful to all my family. I've been raised by a village, and I hope I can make them proud. And so, with that, also want to express my love and appreciation to my best mentor. That's my wife, Timberly, and my 4 children, Sky, Sadie, KK, Kalani Jr. we call him too, and then our baby girl Sylvia. So they've been amazing throughout the whole process, and they're the best supporters for us, and I appreciate them. Also want to tell the players how much I love them. They're amazing, and they make my job so enjoyable, and I love being around them. And being their coach has made me a better person the last 10 years, and I got a lot more improvement to make, so I'm planning to be around for a while to get better. But I'm so proud and honored to be their coach, and I'm honored that I get to learn from such wonderful young men. And then and finally, I just want to, this goes to everybody, just thankful for everyone here at the university. I've had amazing support from everyone involved. I have amazing mentors all over the place, championship coaches, and championship people in the support staff and the administration. They've been awesome. And so it's easy to, when you just sit around, if you just listen to people around you, they can influence you and make you a better person. And so thank you to everyone here and everyone involved in the media. I know I like to hang out with you guys and talk about how I wish I had a goatee to cover up my double chin, stuff like that. So thank you for laughing at all my jokes and humoring me. So I enjoy all my relationships with everybody. I'm a people person, so I like to hang out with people and get to know them. And so finally, I just want to express my love to all the fans. My wife said that the last day or so was probably one of her favorites, and my family, and she called it a love bomb from all the fans. And it's hard to leave when you have something so special, and you have amazing people that support us. And so I'm just grateful that I get to be around the amazing fans, and to make things easier, we'll just quit all the drama, and I'm here, that way people don't have to stop in the middle of the road. It's not safe, and roll the windows down and yell at me to stay. There's a student that sat out here by my parking spot with a sign, and I asked him how long he was waiting there, and he said a couple hours. He had no idea when I was going to be there, and gave him a hug and took a picture of him. But the fans all over the place. It's super special when social media can be toxic and dangerous sometimes, and so negative. So thank you for making it a loving place where my children can feel proud of their dad, and I can just be really proud of the friends that I got to make and the memories. And so those are things that we get to hang on to forever. And so I still have a goal of hugging every fan, every BYU fan. I got close in the last 10 years, but I feel like there's going to be more. So anyways, I want to get back to the game and the focus on the game. That's the goal here. I think that we can. I'm a low maintenance guy, so as you can see, I just came from practice, so this is what I wear. It's all free, and so I just plan on just let's get the focus back on the boys, back on us playing Texas Tech and this amazing conference with the Big 12 with a great commissioner like Brett Yormark, and looking forward to the matchup against Texas Tech this weekend. And let's have more fun with that, and we can just I can answer the questions from you guys, but we can just move on and know that this is settled and get back to the game. So love you guys. Go Cougs. Appreciate it. Questions?
How hard was it to make this decision?
I just really never. I mean, I've been here a while, and for 10 years, I've had a lot of people that have been interested in talking, and I think that a lot of them have been aggressive, and it's one of those moments where you kind of, for me, it's like I never really thought about leaving ever, but I'm also a competitor, and I want to be able to take care of people, and this is just one of those moments where I felt like, us being in the Big 12, if we can make the right moves, and I don't really need to do this anywhere else, I can do it here, and I feel like we've got some great momentum, and I want to keep focused on the culture, but really, really tough, but not really that tough either, So I think for me it was, I don't know, after people start talking about it, it was. I talked about the love bomb. It was this amazing feeling of appreciation from everybody. I don't know how you can leave that, man. I just don't know how you can walk away from it, And it's not really about the money, but there is an opportunity for me to take care of my players and my staff, and make sure that we're all headed the right direction, what we want to accomplish. It's our third year in the Big 12. I feel like we've made some really cool moves, and we're in a place now that we've never been before, but I think we can really accomplish a lot of things, especially with Brian Santiago as our AD. We can be aggressive and get after some things and be the best we can, not just on the field, but also off the field. So, yeah, I don't know if I can answer that right by saying it was rough, but also easy.
So, Brian, you mentioned that this was a deeper investment from the athletic department in the football program. What are some of the particulars about deeper investment?
Well, investment in, first and foremost, our head coach. You want to make sure that your head coach feels valued. But like I mentioned before, Kalani's totally committed to building a program that is not only championship driven, but to do it the BYU way. So his focus was making sure that we made an investment in his coaching staff, make an investment in the players to make sure that we give him the resources he needs. But he wants it spread over the whole program. And if you're going to chase greatness and do it in a unique way, you have to be invested all the way, because one of the things that we're committed to is that we're climbing the mountain. We're chasing greatness. We're doing it the BYU way. And if we're going to sustain it, we're interested in the long game and the long-term sustainability of our program. We're not just trying to win a few games for now. Last I checked, and I've said this a few times, a lot of people talk about our competitive juices and how they flow. The last 7 or 8 months since I've been named the AD, I haven't had anybody call me or email me and say, hey, can you guys be mediocre? Everybody is interested. Cougar Nation everywhere in the world is interested in what's going on. We just found out the last 3 or 4 days, we've literally heard from people all across the world of how invested they are, and then their message is, if you're going to chase greatness like this, if you're going to invest in the program, the whole program, all the way, facilities included, we are driven to have our facilities be second to none. If you're going to invest in the whole program, we're in. Cougar Nation all across the world, we're in. Let us know what you need. And that's been super heartwarming. And I see people even in this room the last few days that have just sent clear messages. We're all in for this program.
Kalani, it wasn't that long ago that you were sitting next to Tom Homo having a conversation like this along these lines, and Tom said a lot of what you said today about being invested in the whole program. Is this a sign that was unprecedented, but you have to do this? Is it a sign of how much the playing field is changing, how quickly everything's accelerating across the industry?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it. I think you have policies and guidelines that you want to do things, but you have to be able to adapt to what's going on in the game. I mean, just not long ago, we didn't have this type of playoff system, So I think understanding that has been key. And I think Brian and Keith and the president have been amazing in the entire process. But it's also understanding that there's a vision of it. So in order to get somewhere, you have to have the vision first, and then you have to know that along the way, this is what we want to get there. I mean, it's easy to just try to say let's do it all at in one day. It just doesn't work like that. So, but the communication and being able to talk about things and seeing that there's a plan in place, that's been the key. And communicating through the entire team and the coaching staff. That's the one thing too. It's having us all be on the same page, and I feel like we're headed there. You know, you just need to hear it more. You know, and for me, I needed to hear it more from everyone and from the administration. And there's a commitment to do that. And I mean, there's also we talked about having a commitment to do other things, not just be only about football. We have to be about other things and have to be able to serve the platform that we have, and even if other teams aren't doing it the way we do it. And so I'm committed to doing that too, and I want to make sure that our guys, the guys that we bring on this team, that they're committed to doing that, and that they know that they have to not only perform on the field but off the field, and it's required of them to be at their best. And so we're working there. You know, some things you have to be a little bit patient with, and other things can be done right now. And I just like the vision of it all, and the administration giving me that vision, and also leadership from the church. So I feel really positive and good about where we're headed.
Your good friend Jordan McGuire, as you alluded to on Monday, Texas Tech and Brendan Wales as well, has invested heavily in player retention and NIL block. You're talking about unprecedented funds. Are they an archetype you guys are aspiring to kind of follow in a way?
Yeah, with the investment that Texas Tech's made. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be the same way. It's not like we take the system that Texas Tech has and we use it for here. It won't work. BYU is unique and different, so we have to do it our own way. But there's got to be there are some things that are similar, but I don't know that game plan won't work here. And I want young men that fit the system and fit what we're trying to get done here and the mission of our team, that's in alignment with the mission of the university and alignment with the mission of the church. And fortunately, there's a lot of young men that want to play football for that type of system and in that program. And you know, we're finding out quite a bit in the recruiting process that we can field a really good team doing it that way. But you have to also take care of some other things, which is kind of a given, you know. And so we're working through all of it. I like the discussions that we're having. I like the moves that we're making, and I feel good about the young men that we can bring into this program.
Kalani, you mentioned you wanted a deal that is going to help coaching staff, support staff. How does it help the coaching staff? Is it new deals also for your coordinators and things like that?
Yeah, I think it applies to everybody. And so it's important that everybody in this building feels valued, from our coaches to our support staff to our players as well. So that's the key. And so we're making that move for everyone. But when you think about it, my job isn't try to pay people so much money that they never want to leave. There's a lot of guys on our team that are going to be good quality head coaches. I noticed that when Lavelle was doing that and things were rolling, he was pumping out great NFL coaches, and I mean, Andy Reid's one of them. He's out there at Kansas City right now, and I appreciate his support, by the way, you know. And there's a lot of people out there that have gone through the system. So I'm trying to create a place where people want to get after our coaches and they want to hire them. That's a good sign for all of us. And so there's a little bit of both. I want to be able to retain coaches, but I also want to give them opportunities to move on if that's what they want to do.
Brian, go ahead.
Go.
I was going to say, you brought up facilities being second to none.
Yeah.
What role does facilities play in this long-term investment in the Kalani program?
Well, you have to be in the game. And the one thing, and Kalani said it very, very well, one of the big game changers, and everyone in this room knows it, is when we joined the Big 12. It changed everything as far as the level of competition day in and day out, and the ability to compete at the very highest level and put yourself in a position like we're in right now. And Kalani's done a great job of adapting and adjusting to a brand new world of being in the Big 12. And we're super grateful for the Big 12. The other part of it, and to answer your question about facilities, is that recruiting is the lifeblood of a program. And one of the things that's been proven is that Kalani and this staff, and the reason why we have to have the right coaches in place, is because recruiting is everything. And they just signed one of the top recruiting classes in the country, got commitments from some of the best players in the country, and one of the best recruiting classes we've had. And part of bringing those young men to this campus is they want to have the resources and the facilities to be able to prepare themselves for the next level. They all have the dream. And so we want to make sure when they come to BYU that they're not sacrificing anything in their ability to prepare for a great career at BYU and beyond. And so when you start looking at our facilities, our practice fields, our stadium, the locker rooms downstairs, the weight rooms, like, we want to make sure they have the very best and that we stay in the game. We got to be competitive. And those student athletes and those prospective student athletes, they're seeing the very best as they travel around. They want to know that if they come here, they're going to have access to the best resources and the best facilities. So that's part of our commitment, is to make sure that we have those facilities in place.
But with the facilities, though, just to add on that, sorry, Brian, but the most important facility is game day and game night, you know, and what happens there. It's a spectacle. It's awesome. It's beautiful, and so we focus on that. All the other stuff, we need it, and there's some things that you need and some things that are required. That's the stuff I'm focused on. If a young man wants to come here because of a building, and I don't know how good of a player he's going to be, you know. So we're going to have what's needed and the necessities. We don't need to be extravagant, you know. So that's not our style, anyways. We're a tough-nosed program, and like I said, if a young man has to go somewhere because it's a beautiful building, I'd love to play against him, you know. So we'll stick to our standard and our identity. But there are some things that we can make it easier for them to be at their best, and that can be at their peak performance level, and they can do a lot of things. That's the stuff we're going to really invest in.
Ryan, it's well documented. You're a competitive person.
Yeah.
How does it feel to kind of win this competition when big hitters are swinging for your guy, Tom's guy that you guys brought in over a decade ago, to win against the best, unlimited resources, along with Keith and Shane and those that had the decisions? How does that feel to win?
You know, I didn't view it like that. Going into this, you know, we had a lot of conversations about the program and about making sure that he feels valued at BYU. And one of the things that we're all competitive. But my responsibility as the athletic director is to have the best coaches in the country for BYU. And there's nobody better in all of football for BYU than Kalani Sitake. So our investment was, let's make sure that we do everything we can to retain Kalani Sitake. We never wavered. We had a lot of great conversations. But that was the motivation. It wasn't to win. It was to make sure that we have the best football coach in America that aligns perfectly with BYU and the church, and there's nobody better than Kalani Sitake. And so that was the focus, is to make sure that we invested in the right person. And when you've been in something for 10 years, in the trenches, through the good, the tough, you find out real quick who you want to go to battle with. And if we're going to go to battle, I'm going to battle with this guy. And I'm walking the path with this guy. And so that was the motivation. It wasn't to win. But I'm grateful we won.
Brian, how does this change the expectations now for the program? This significant investment.
I think the expectations are already set by Kalani and his vision and passion for excellence. He's built something really, really special, and we wanted to give him the resources to be able to sustain it. There were a lot of people for a long time that said, number one, we would never be in a power conference, and number two, that we would never be in this position. But we believe, and he believes. And the expectations for this program are set by him and our vision to be great and to bring positive light to this incredible university, and positive light to, especially in this time of season, to the Savior. That's who we are. We're unashamed about it. And this athletic department, this university, our passion is to be perfectly aligned with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and be perfectly aligned with the leadership, with Keith and President, and all the way from top to bottom. And that's why I'm excited, because I feel like we're all in it together. And that doesn't happen everywhere, but it's going to happen here.
Kalani, you put it into words, from playing here, coaching here, becoming a true member of this community. What does BYU mean to you?
Yeah, I already cried enough tonight. But yeah, no, that's okay. I don't know. It it's a way of life, and so, and I don't know, it's awesome because it's family, and just everyone being at their best. It's having wonderful example like the Savior to follow, and also realizing that we don't have to be perfect. That's been the key. I think what I love from our guys is I ask them to just try everything they got. Effort and energy will dictate everything for us. And but if it's about perfect, we haven't played a perfect game yet, but we're going to try. And so if we can just, the BYU way is for us to do it together and not to and to rely on each other. I don't have all the answers. I remember 10 years ago when I got the job, I asked everyone to help me out, and I think it was a call to all of Cougar Nation to help me recruit. That's still going on. I still need that, but the thing that I'll tell you is exactly when you ask me, it's what happened with the outpouring of love. That's BYU, and imagine how what social media can be if we continue to follow the path of positivity and uplifting people. And I think it was something that was really beautiful that our fans did for me. I can tell you it made me feel really good. And I think we should do it more often for everyone and maybe turn it to a much more positive experience.
As you both, just one more question, then we're going to bring up Tanner and Chase, two of our senior captains. We'll make them available for a couple questions.
As you both know, in all virtually big-time football programs, the head coach has executive decision-making ability. Was Kalani granted that in this deal?
Kalani always has decision-making capability for his program. One of the things when you start talking about alignment is there are very few things that we disagree on when we talk about the direction of this program and where it's going, and we make decisions together. We make decisions together, and when there needs to be additional input, there's input. But Kalani always has decision-making capability for his football program. That's why we invest in him, because he makes sound decisions, and that's why we're in the position we're in. This excellence just didn't happen by chance. This has been happening for some time, and the way he's built it the right way. We're just super excited. And what I'm really excited for, and he mentioned it earlier, I'm excited for Cougar Nation. I think people are going to find out when that roof blows off on Saturday when our team runs on the field. People are going to feel what we all feel for this place and for this program, and we're extremely grateful for Kalani and his entire staff. And when I say entire staff, I'm looking around, I see all my staff that's been in the trenches here for the last little while, but these coaches and all of them that are here and that aren't here. I'm just going to say this real quick. The start of the year, we went to Media Day together, and we sat and watched the movie F1 together with a bunch of the players. And that celebration in the back room, when they won, even those that weren't out on the track, that's what's happening here. That's the culture that he's created. Everybody feels a part of it, and they feel valued, and we're going to keep building this thing.
Appreciate it, man.
Let's go.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was a live press conference from Provo, Utah. The extension of Kalani Sitake as the head coach of BYU football. Brian Santiago, the athletic director there. You heard him at the end. They even had Keith Borkink, the athletic department vice president and activities vice president there at BYU. He heads up. He's Brian Santiago's boss, and he reports right to Shane Reese, who's the president of BYU. He also spoke. Before we get out, because we're way past it here, we want to say thanks to the folks here at JCW. JCW's awesome job. You got to come down. You got to check it out food-wise. Nobody better than the Burger Boys. So many locations across the Wasatch Front, but you can obviously dip in wherever is close to you, and there's a reason that there is quality and a lot of it from those guys. Tomorrow, Hans and Scotty are going to be at Tim Daly Nissan, Southtown, for their it's going to be a championship game preview for this BYU Texas Tech game, on top of many other subjects, of course. 11155 South Jordan Gateway at South Jordan. It's the Tim Daly, home of the Forever Warranty. And, of course, this portion of the show brought to you by the good folks down here at the American Fork, Spanish Fork, and Linden locations of the Doug Smith dealerships. Nobody knows cars like Doug. JJ, guess what else we have?
What else?
Some tickets to give away.
Let's do it.
Okay. Jazz and Thunder coming up on Sunday it is your final time for a Jazz Ticket Tuesday here on an extended version of our program. So here we go. 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. You get a pair of tickets to see the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday at Delta Center. For Jeremiah Jensen, David and Brant, who do an awesome job, of course, setting it up here and tearing us down at JCW's. We say thanks to our producer, also Alex Napolis, who held it down in Salt Lake City. We'll be back again tomorrow for another edition of our show. JJ and Alex right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.